It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Council considering legal action over homeless families being sent to Luton. Man jailed for sex offences at Aylesbury swimming pool. And protesters backing Milton Keynes community building.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. They say some London boroughs are breaching local overcrowding standards and they'll take them to court over it. It comes as a BBC investigation reveals more than 100 households have arrived in the area. More from Carol Abercrombie.
At least 13 London boroughs have been transferring families to Luton because of a shortage of affordable properties inside the M25. Luton says the numbers are putting pressure on already stretched local services. Councillor Tom Shaw says they've complained to Waltham Forest about 57 families being placed in one housing block in the town. Waltham Forest said it's offering support to the families.
A Luton man who sexually assaulted teenage girls at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury has been jailed. Anthony Crawford from Blenheim Crescent was given a 30-month sentence and placed on the sex offenders register indefinitely. Jessica Cooper reports.
The 40-year-old sexually assaulted two teenage girls in the changing area at Aquavale swimming pool in February. He was arrested in April, days after another offence, when he'd looked under a changing room cubicle at a 19-year-old woman getting changed. Everyone Active, which runs the pool, says it has an extensive child safeguarding policy and staff undergo safeguarding training.
The Home Secretary, Theresa May, is to call on the police to do more to increase the ethnic diversity of their workforce. She will tell the National Black Police Association that none of the 43 forces are representative of the communities they serve. Relatives of the 10 people who died in Glasgow 2 years ago when a police helicopter crashed onto a bar say the final report into the tragedy leaves many questions unanswered. Air accident investigators have briefed the families in advance of official publication of their report tomorrow. Protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night with a 4,000-strong petition handed to councillors in support of community groups staying at the Buzzy, the former bus station building. Make a Difference, which runs community services there, say they're being forced to leave after losing income from the adjacent car park. It's due to be discussed at next month's full council meeting. The new Bond movie, Spectre, filmed at Pinewood in Buckinghamshire, was screened for journalists in London last night ahead of its official release on Monday. There were mixed reviews. Boyd Hilton was one of the journalists invited.
I thought it really worked at delivering what you want from a Bond film, really, all the different elements, car chases and spectacular set pieces and the kind of interaction he has with women, and cars and gadgets, all of that stuff, It just feels like a film made by Bond fans for Bond fans.
In sport, England's cricketers start the second test against Pakistan in Dubai this morning. Play starts at 7 o'clock our time. And the weather, a cloudy start with some rain, but improving. Sunny spells this afternoon, a maximum temperature 14 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
And relax. The perfect music for your afternoon. Every song has a memory. Music to make lunch too.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is David Prever.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Home is where I'm going. No matter how long it takes. And I've been living high and free, Lord. It's time for me to try another way. I think I'll send her a postcard so she can meet my plane. I don't know what I'll say to her. I've caused her so much pain. Houston, I'm coming to see you. Houston, has it really been that long? I know I've been away, but I'm just calling to tell you I'm leaving today. Sitting here in San Francisco, Lord, I'm trying to get more pay. You know it's good to hear your voice again. Say the words I like to hear you say. Now I'm trying to read your letter. It's been almost a year. It did me good to get away from you, but now I'm wishing you were here. Houston, I'm coming to see you. Houston, has it really been that long? I know I've been away, and I'm just calling to tell you I'm leaving today. Houston, I'm coming to see you. Houston, has it really been that long? Houston, Houston, Houston. Houston, has it really been that long?
The show hasn't even started yet. We've already blown your minds with Arthur Lee and Love. And a little bit of Glenn Campbell. Oh, Glenn's not very well. He's no.
Stop throwing the curse around.
No, I don't think our curse is going to hasten what is already rapidly approaching for Mr. Campbell. Unfortunately, there I've been reading reports online. Very sad, very sad. Morning, busy show this morning. So when have you cheated death? We're carrying that over from yesterday. Oh, what have you blocked? What have you blocked? Yes, that's what we're doing.
Beds,
That's it.
hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let me do this, and then we'll crack on with what have you blocked. So someone, I think it was Susie on Twitter, came up with this one. It's a corker. But before that, Luton Borough Council is considering legal action against a number of London authorities sending their homeless to the town. It comes as a BBC investigation reveals more than 100 families have been moved to Luton from the capital. Well, our reporter, Matt Precy, has been investigating this, and he joins me now. Morning, Matt. What's going on?
Hello, Ian. Well, we lodged a series of Freedom of Information Act requests to at least 30, and at least 13 London boroughs have been transferring families to temporary or permanent accommodation to Luton because they're running out of affordable properties that they can procure. They're seeing rising demand because of the increasing numbers of people presenting themselves as homeless, and that's being blamed on rising rents within the capital and in many cases changes to the welfare system. The London boroughs sending homeless families to Luton in recent years include Harrow, Hackney and Enfield, but the councils sending the most are Waltham Forest and Barnet, and who sent more than 100 between them in the last year.
What kind of places in Luton are these people being sent?
So they're being sent all over, Ian. The London boroughs usually use letting agencies who will then source suitable properties across Luton. But there's one converted office block in the Cardiff Road near the town centre where around 57 households have been sent by Waltham Forest. Now, this comprises mainly of one-bedroom flats with a few larger flats, and it was recently converted, and it's been decorated to a good standard. We went along and we found that it's almost entirely filled with families from places like Walthamstow and Leighton. We met Nicola, who has 4 young children, and she shares a one-bedroom flat with them. The 2 eldest share a double bed. The other 2 are in cots, and Nicola sleeps in a sofa bed. She was made homeless when her landlady died, and she arrived in Luton from Leighton on June the 12th.
Well, of course, it's not nice at all because, I have none of my family and friends around me. This place is unknown to me. I don't know the environment well at all. I think it's ridiculous. I think they can't just move people out of their hometown.
What is Luton Borough Council saying about this?
They're angry at this situation because it's adding pressure to an already overheated rental market locally. They say Luton itself is in the grip of a housing crisis. They say these homeless families are arriving and they have to be provided with services at the expense of local council taxpayers. The London boroughs discharge their responsibility for the housing side of things, but Luton has to look after everything else, especially if these families have got, complex needs. The children are sometimes presenting themselves at local schools in the town centre, which are already oversubscribed. So the council then has to find them places elsewhere, further afield, and provide the transport. I mean, at Cardiff Road, I saw taxis and a minibus picking kids up to take them to school. Nicola, who we just heard from now, has to take all her children and walk 35 minutes to a school 4 times a day. I mean, I accompanied her, and it's a difficult walk, which she does in all weathers, having to cross lots of roads with a double buggy and 2 young children walking beside her. And it was pouring with rain when I walked with her. Well,
that's being a parent. That's being a parent, though, isn't it? We parents have to walk long distances to school sometimes. I mean, it's not ideal.
Absolutely, but I tell you what, Ian, Nicola was walking 10 minutes to school in her previous address in Leighton. And think about it, she's got twins under the age of 1. Yeah. She's got a 5-year-old and she's got a 4-year-old. And I walked with her, and she, it was a pretty long distance to walk with, 4 kids under the age of 5.
It's tricky, but that's being a parent.
Yep, I guess so. But it was pretty tough for her. I mean, also bear in mind that she is living in a 1-bedroom flat with 4 children.
Yeah.
And so it is pretty tough for her. I mean, the portfolio for housing in Luton, Luton Council, Tom Shaw, he's calling on the London boroughs to stop sending their homeless to the town, and he says he'll go to the courts. One way they'll do it is by seeking to prosecute London boroughs if they're breaching the local rules on overcrowding.
Our only option now is we will not hesitate when we find a London borough statutory overcrowding by our rules, taking action against them in court. And I think that's the only way what's going to stop it.
What's Waltham Forest's response?
Well, they're not putting anybody up for interview, but they emailed a statement from their Labour cabinet member for housing, Kevin Limbergy. He told us that rocketing prices in the private rented sector, government cuts and benefit caps and other changes to the welfare system and the lack of housing availability has resulted in their residents being priced out of the market and the number of households in the borough rising rapidly. The number of households in temporary accommodation in Waltham Forest currently stands at over 2,000. He said they are notifying Luton Borough Council ahead of families being offered temporary accommodation there, and they're offering additional support to the families. What's interesting is that some of the London councils aren't telling Luton they're sending families, as they're required to do so by law, the 96 Housing Act, which means LBC don't really know the full extent of the problem.
OK, Matt, thank you very much for that. Later on, we'll be speaking to Tom Shaw, who's head of housing in Luton, and some of the people living in these flats.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's quiet so far this morning. On the M1, though, there's roadworks in both directions between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable. It's got very busy there yesterday, so it's expected to be busy again. And also, it could be very busy on the North Orbital Road in St Albans. There's lane closed there in each direction between the Park Street roundabout and the London Coney roundabout, but it's quiet so far this morning. On the A40 in West Wickham, there's roadworks at the junction for Old Oxford Road, so expect queues there. And also on Beaconsfield Road in Farnham Common, there's temporary traffic lights at Barn Close.
Farnham Common! I used to live in Farnham Common! I used to live in Farnham Common!
Whoa!
I used to live in Farnham. Between the ages of 11 and about, let's say 19 for legal reasons, I used to live in Farnham Common. I used to live at number 3 Forge Drive, Sammy. You can tell us the Farnham Common bit again. We never got mentioned on the radio. Tell us again. Go.
Okay, in Farnham Common, Beaconsfield Road, there's some temporary traffic lights at the junction for Barn Close. So there could cause delays through. I know, I'm looking for your Forge Road now.
Barn Close. Forge Drive is what you want. Forge Drive. It might be just...
Find it.
Well...
I can see the Drifters RFC.
The Drifters.
It's quiet.
The
There's no traffic there.
Drifters are from America, Sammy. I think you may have got this wrong. Anyway, excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Farnham Common, Catherine, on the radio.
I don't even know where that is.
It's on the very cusp of Buckinghamshire. Some may say Berkshire, not I. 6:16. It's Thursday, the 22nd of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. A Luton man who sexually assaulted teenage girls at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury has been jailed. And protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night with a 4,000-strong petition handed over in support of community groups staying at the Buzzee, the former bus station building.
Every weekday from 3.
It's not just about what we bring you.
Starting off on the M25, it's particularly heavy moving anti-clockwise.
It's also about what you bring us.
In the end, I could only eat off my ironing board.
Your stories.
Every room in the house was climbing over mountains of rubbish.
Your humour.
There's a reason why you earn the big bucks, you see. That sort of insightful comment is exactly right.
Your opinions.
Well, the culture's got to change because the police can't do it and the traffic wardens are so busy, so the culture has to change.
I think parents do change into different human beings when they are picking their kids up.
Roberto Perroni.
And everyone across beds, hearts and bucks.
Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Floating in the river with a saturated liver, and I wish I could forgive her, but I do believe she meant it when she told me to forget it, and I bet she will forget it when they find me in the morning wet and drowned, and the wood gets drowned. I'm going down. I'm coming up for air, it's pretty stuff under there. I'd like to say I didn't care, but I forgot to leave a note, and it's so hot to stay afloat, I'm soaking wet without a boat, and I knew I should have taken off my shoes. It's front page news. Going down. She must have had another date. I didn't need this extra way to wish that I could see the way to show. I don't want no more. Going down, I'm going down. I now see the left, I let it slip it all away. I made a should have learned to swim instead, and now it's really got me stuff. I can't believe it. Why I jump my life again? My tummy pump, I can't believe they drink this stuff in town. This Jenny Brown. Going down, going down, I'm going down. Seniors are getting old. I'm hungry, sleepy, wet and cold. She told me me to forget it nice. I should have taken her advice. I only want to go on home. I'd gladly leave that girl alone. What a way to spend the night. If I don't drown, I'll die of fright. My pappy taught me how to float, but I can't swim a single note. He threw me in to teach me how. I stayed there floating like a mama cow, and now I've floated way downstream. No, this has to be a dream. If I could find my way to shore, I'd never do this anymore. Now give you 3 up and down, but I'm going down just one more time for now. I got going down, going down, going down. I'm going down, going down, back home, back home, back home. Going down, going down. I'm going down. I'm going back home, back to my friends, back to the worm, back to do with the two. I'm going home. Now the sky is getting light, everything will be alright. Think I finally got the knack of just floating lazy on my back. I never really liked that town. I think I'll ride the river down, just moving slow and floating free. There's a river swinging under me, waving back to the slopes on shore. I should have thought of this before. I float on down to New Orleans and pick up on some swinging scenes. I'm gonna know a better day. I'm gonna get moving all the way, going down.
Easy listening for your afternoon. The music you want for your afternoon.
One of them came up against me, I couldn't touch it. I was shocked. Never.
I think it's just gone politically correct.
Tasty.
Morning, guys. Morning. Kelly, great to have you back with us today.
Thanks, player.
Thank you. No. Thank you, player.
Thanks, player.
No.
Oh.
No. Thank you, player.
You're
No.
welcome.
For crying out loud, woman. What's your problem today?
None taken.
Right on my nerves.
You're welcome.
She should turn that microphone off. What has gotten into her today? How dare she speak back to me like that?
Outrageous.
Outrageous. Give her one more chance.
You're a plum.
Oh!
Gosh!
Thank you very much indeed. It's appreciatus. Now, a Luton man has been jailed for 30 months, and placed on the sex offenders register after sexually assaulting teenage girls at a public swimming pool. Anthony Crawford assaulted 2 girls in the changing area at Aqua Vale swimming pool and looked under a cubicle whilst a 19-year-old woman was getting changed. Catherine, tell us what happened in this case, please.
Well, Anthony Crawford is 40 and he's from Blenheim Crescent in Luton. On the 7th of February, he assaulted 2 girls in the changing area, as you said, at Aqua Vale swimming pool. He was arrested on the 8th of April, just a few days after he'd committed another offence at the same pool. This time, he looked under the changing cubicle while this woman was getting changed. So yesterday, he was sentenced to 30 months imprisonment, put on the sex offenders register indefinitely, and given a sexual harm and prevention order.
Have the people from the pool said anything?
Well, we did approach them. They're called Everyone Active, and they sent us a statement. It says that we take child safeguarding extremely seriously and will remain vigilant at all times. We have an extensive child safeguarding policy, and our colleagues undergo safeguarding training.
Are there any systems in place to try and reduce these types of crimes at swimming pools? Because you can't have cameras in the changing rooms, can you?
Apparently, there's got this scheme called Leisure Watch, which is all about training people who work in these places to know what to look for and how to report concerns. What they're trying to do is to train more staff who work in public places, the pools like this, but shopping centres, bus stations, libraries, to stop certain behaviour before it becomes a crime. They say, for example, if they spot a man who always comes to watch school swimming, they would approach him and just say in a friendly way that they've noticed he's here every week and remind him when the adult swimming sessions are. They say by explaining that he's been noticed, the person usually stays away.
Well, that sounds completely ineffective and would have had no impact in this case whatsoever. That's and a Leisure Watch. I mean, that's not exactly the most appropriate, considering what this gentleman was found guilty of. All right. Well, in the next hour, very serious story. In the next hour, we'll be speaking to a child protection group in Milton Keynes about the difficulties trying to prprotect children at swimming pools. No.
I mean, how do you spot who's a dad and who's just a dodgy old fella?
I'm worried just the way that's phrased.
Yeah.
The difficulties trying to protect children at swimming pools. That just sounds like we're stirring it a little bit. And this bloke's a dodgepot, and There are a few dodgepots out there, but generally kids are safe at swimming pools. Well, let's see what they have to say. I'm just worried that we're stirring the pot thicker than it need be.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So yesterday, normally these microphones are utter pony. Normally I argue with idiots on Twitter. Yes, I was just blocking them. Blocking. Wonderful. The sense of relief that it gave me was awesomeness. And then Susie on Twitter, and it's very rarely I credit somebody, but you know what? I'm feeling kind today. Said, tomorrow's phone-in, what have you blocked? Beautiful.
Did she say that before you blocked her?
Yeah, I'm going to block her now. So 03459 455 555 is the telephone number, and it can be a toilet. It can be well. There's a story in the papers today. They're trying to name and shame. I have to ride the fader every time I speak because my microphone. It doesn't matter. Of a driver who blocked a road. There's been a couple of stories of people, cars blocking each other. So, well, I was here first. You reversed. No, you reversed. There's a very funny film starring Bruce Forsyth.
No.
Bruce. I'm sure
that phrase doesn't work.
I'm sure it's Bruce. I'm sure I've got this right, guys. Someone will remind me. There's a film starring Bruce Forsyth and Bernard Cribbins. It's the 7 Deadly Sins, right? And it's 7 little artsies, little scenes.
Vignette.
There we go. And one of them is Bruce Forsyth and Bernard Cribbins, and it's stubbornness. Is that a sin? Yeah, sure. Why not? And they're down a road, right?
Is it Pride?
They're along Pride. They're on a long road. You've seen it, Kels. Bernard Cribbins and Bruce Forsyth in the movie.
No. Sounds like the sort of thing you like.
They're in a road, right? Long road, right? And one's got a Bentley. Forsyth has got a Bentley. Yeah. Cribbins has got like a little horrible little car. And they get out and they say, "Well, you need to reverse." No, Governor, you need to reverse. I've got a good game, you need to reverse. I'm further up this road than you are. The laws of the road are you've got to reverse, you dirty old man. Harold? No, I ain't got to reverse. Anyway, so then they call out, one of them's got the RAC and one of them's got the AA, and they come out, and one scene is posher than the other.
You know the posh one is going to be the RAC,
Yeah. And then they measure the road, and it turns out that spoiler alert, Bernard Cribbins is 1 yard further up the road, so Bruce Forsyth has to...
Of course he does. They couldn't let the posh road win.
I'm sure... I couldn't have had a dream as intricate as that, could I? 03459 455 555. Anyway, there's loads of stories like this. There's one in the paper today of this guy who was having an argument with, I think, a bus in a tunnel, and about reversing. And then there's an ambulance behind him, and the ambulance says, "Look, mate, we've got someone who's dying in the back. Could you move on?" And I didn't really know how the story ended.
It does tend to be men that do this, but you'll remember my problem in the posh supermarket car park with Cowbag.
Yeah.
Who tried to force me round the wrong way.
I think women are...
She was... that was more shocking because it was a woman.
No, I think women are more aggressive behind the wheel.
No. Unbelievable.
I think they're as aggressive. No, they're more aggressive. Because I had a terrible run-in with this woman when I was doing a right turn in a lane where you could go straight on or do a right turn. She thought I was cutting her up. I wasn't cutting her up. I was doing the right turn in a lane I was allowed to. Got very, very sweary very, very quickly.
Was it me?
It may possibly... It wasn't you, actually, no, but it was...
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1 southbound in Bournemouth from the Holiday Inn towards the Stirling Corner, it's starting to get busy, and also nearby in Bricketwood on the North Orbital Road, the M25 junction 21A roundabout starting to build up too. No reported problems on the M25 or the M1 though, and it's looking fine at the moment through the roadworks between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable. In Brackley, though, on the A43, that's been blocked southbound because of an accident at the Westbury roundabout, which is causing delays along the A43, and it's shed its load too, so that's adding to the problems by the Buckingham Road Industrial Estate. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. A Luton man who sexually assaulted teenage girls at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury has been jailed. The Home Secretary, Theresa May, is to call on the police to do more to increase the ethnic diversity of their workforce. And protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night with a 4,000-strong petition handed to councillors in support of community groups staying at the Buzzy, the former bus station building.
Three Counties Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers start the second test against Pakistan in Dubai this morning. Play starts at 7 o'clock our time. England will check on the fitness of all-rounder Ben Stokes. In football, in last night's Champions League matches, Manchester City scored a stoppage time winner to beat Sevilla 2-1, whilst Manchester United drew 1-1 away to CSKA Moscow. City manager Manuel Pellegrini was delighted with Kevin De Bruyne's late strike.
I think it's very important for him. We tried to make some change because we are not arriving to their box. We are not creating chances. That's why we put Kevin in front with Yaya. Fortunately, we create that play that finished with the goal.
In the Europa League tonight, Liverpool play their first home match under new manager Jurgen Klopp as they host Rubin Kazan. Tottenham are away to Anderlecht. Milton Keynes Dons are down to 20th in the Championship after Brentford won at Wolves last night and Leeds drew at Fulham. Luton Borough Council have welcomed Luton Town's plans to develop land at Junction 10 of the M1 to finance a new stadium elsewhere in the town. Labour's deputy leader on the council, Sean Timoney, told BBC Three Counties that the stadium itself would not be at Junction 10, but wouldn't reveal the possible sites for relocation.
That would be down to the club, and I know that they've got a couple of options that they're currently looking at, but it wouldn't be on the Junction 10 site. It wouldn't be for me to say, well, I think they should go here, I think they should go there.
Yeah, but you must have had a conversation with them. I mean, you're all working together. You must know what they're thinking.
Yeah, I do. I know that they're looking at various sites, and it wouldn't be right of me to name them.
And in boxing, Hatfield's Billy Joe Saunders appears at a London press conference today with Ireland's Andy Lee ahead of their world middleweight title fight in Manchester in December. BBC Three Counties News and Sport, the next full bulletin at 7.
You're beat up, broken down. Every man knows your name in this whole damn town. And every bar, they know you drink. Or should I think? I turn around and look, and your gaze will do the wink. I thought I'd feel happy with a woman like you, but you walked on my pride and my manhood too. I don't know too much, but one thing I know, a man stuck on you is like a stepping stone. Cause you keep using me just like a stepping stone. You keep using me just like your stepping stone. Forgot to mention, what was your real intention? Did you want a man to love, or someone to prop and carry you up to a higher status? But the matter of fact is that your detachment will bring you further down. And now you're all used up, don't bother coming round. Cause you keep using me just like your stepping stone. You keep using me just like your stepping stone. Thinking to myself, what's wrong with you? Ain't need enough to have a man for a lover and a friend. Tear him up and leave when his money's spent. Well, you just like the lotto sitting in a dance. You take the strongest man and break it down again. But I have gained some knowledge. Go on, pack your things and move on back to college. You keep using me just like your stepping stone. You keep using me just like your stepping stone.
Morning, guys. Let's be having it. So, what have you blocked? Your near-death experiences? I don't feel the show is kind of. It's not kind of, you know.
It's not lifted off
It's not
yet.
lifted off yet. We're kind of bumping along the ground, and I can see we're on that runway in Hong Kong. That's hang on. Yeah. Etc. Etc. Here we go. Pocket instruments.
Yes.
The harmonica fits in a pocket, nice and easy.
Stylophone.
The stylophone. He didn't invent it, but he promoted it, so we can still. Okay, which classic hit? I'm going to say top 10 because I don't know if it was a number one or not. I think it was. Which I think I told you this the other day, didn't I? Oh, let's see if Kelly remembers. Kelly.
Hang on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Which classic hit features a stylophone? A stylophone.
Is it The Who?
Carry on. Okay.
Is it The Kings?
Well, you said The Who. You're gonna
Beach
no
Monkeys?
No.
Is it the Beach Monkeys?
No. It's. I think it's this one. Hang on.
Boy.
Hang on a minute. I think it's this guy. Hang on.
It's Bowie. David Bowie?
Yeah. Are you,
David
okay,
Bowie.
Catherine's mouthing it to you. Okay. Catherine's mouthing David Bowie. Right.
No,
okay.
she's not.
Here we go. Let's get to the.
Is it this
Here it
one?
is. Listen. That's a stylophone.
And then there's a solo, isn't there?
Yeah. Try to find
Does
the
he
solo.
die in this song?
He's spinning in space.
Here comes the down the ground control to Davy Jones. Your name, Davy Jones, of course, had to change it because of the monkeys. Thank you very much indeed. There we go. Hang on. Oh, for crying out loud! Shut up.
You don't have go on.
Hang on.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's guitar. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, on the stylophone, would you welcome Mr. David Jones? He set it to vibrato. Multi-layered to sound like strings. There you go, you see.
Nice, isn't it? It's actually quite nice.
Oh, David! Oh, David! Well, it was the 70s, and anything went in the 70s, including David Bowie and his wife, if I've heard is correct. Anyway, so, pocket instruments. We've got the stylophone, we've got the harmonica, we've got the... Oh, if you had a big pocket, you know the Maharishi trousers, you could fit in one of those...
Piccolo?
No, well, piccolo.
Penny whistle?
No, the keyboard ones. It's got a keyboard and you're blowing it. Ooh.
Oh, what was that called?
A symphonium. No, that's a bit... You wouldn't fit that in a pocket, blimey.
Harmonium.
Was it a harmonium? What's the thing called, Mark? It's got a keyboard on it, but you blow into it.
It's too early for that, Ian.
Okay, well, never too early to... we'll end up there. What you got for us, Mark?
Things you've blocked up. Well, my dad technically did it. He blocked my nose up with a pea.
Oh, Dad, that is that's actual abuse. You could take him to the European Court of Human Rights and get thousands.
I wouldn't eat my dinner, so he took one of the peas off the plate, put me in a headlock, and pushed the pea up my nose.
Interesting technique.
And a year and a half later, I was in the garden on my motorbike, and sneezed, and I had a blocked nostril for a year and a half, sneezed, and the pea come out.
What?
Right, hang on a second.
Yeah.
How old were you when he shoved a pea up your nose?
About 8 years old.
Right, so that means at 9.5 you had a motorbike?
Yeah.
What, like an engine motorbike or a brum?
Yeah. 100cc Honda XL, mate, yeah.
At 9.5 years old?
Yeah,
Is your dad Evel Knievel or Eddie Kidd?
You need a bike, mate. Everybody has to have a bike.
Not 9.5-year-olds! You weren't driving it around Dunstable, were you?
No, 3.5 acres of land he had. So
Oh,
just
beautiful.
That was all right.
Catherine, you've employed some unusual parenting techniques, shoving food up your daughter's noses to make them eat.
Not one I've tried before. I've removed beads from my daughter's nose. She said she was just sniffing it to see what it smelt like.
The relief when you came, the relief when it came out of your nose must have been incredible.
Yeah, because I had a horrible taste in my mouth, obviously, for a year and a half, obviously, because my nose was blocked. I kept saying to him, there's something wrong here, because it's stuck. No, you're all right. And he still denies it to this day. I still tell him, he still won't have it. Do you know what I mean?
Did you not think, like, the 2 days after, you got a mouldy pee in your nose, and did you not think,
it was hard when it come out.
Oh, I bet it was.
Yeah, you know when it goes, like when you leave peas and they shrivel up.
Yeah.
When it come out. Let me tell you other thing he did to me. He hung a dead pheasant by my school tie up on my lampshade. And then when I come home from school, he said, "Oh, there's something for you in your bedroom." I run down the hallway, open the bedroom door, because my bedroom was downstairs, and there's a dead pheasant hanging off the light.
And how did that make you feel as a person?
Is your dad a cat? What's he doing bringing you dead birds?
Oh, because he hit him driving home in the car, you know?
Yeah, that'll teach him. Mark, you've made us all feel very blessed that whatever we went through in our childhood, it was not as bad
but
as that.
But he did have a motorbike.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, exactly.
The Lord giveth.
03459 455 505. Phil says the car sketch was Ronnie Barker and Corbett. No. That was when now you've reminded me. They did that sketch on. I guess that was the week that was, or maybe at last the 1948 show. This was in a movie with Bruce Forsyth and Bernard Cribbins, right, said Fred. Right, so we were talking about near-death experiences yesterday. Have you ever cheated death? We sent Dealey out on the streets. We didn't have a chance to play it yesterday. Well, this is what he came up with.
Taking it to the streets with J-Dog. Hashtag death cheats.
Boss, you claim that you've cheated death. What happened?
Well, I fell off monkey bars and broke my wrist 2 days before a holiday.
I mean, breaking your wrist is not really cheating death, mate. Iain last night was in his bathroom and his shower door exploded. So, do you feel a bit silly now with your answer?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, all right, mate. Let's leave it there. Thanks very much. Hi.
Hello.
Have you ever cheated death?
No.
Madam, you've had a near-death experience. You've cheated death. What happened?
I had a car accident. Nearly died. I had major head injury in that.
So, how long were you in hospital for?
Months. It's about 3 months in total.
Wow. So when you woke up in the hospital, tell us what happened then, because you must have thought, where the hell am I? What's going on?
I didn't remember anything about the accident at all. Not a single thing. Literally 3 months of my life had just disappeared.
How has your life changed? You as a person, how different are you now that you've had a near-death experience?
I don't think I'm the same person at all. For a few years afterwards, I was nervous about getting in the car, and it was, I just didn't feel the same again afterwards.
You look healthy now, anyway.
Yeah, I wish.
No, seriously, you look very healthy. I'll leave you to it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Wowzers. I mean, gosh.
I've cheated death.
Oh, yeah, there we go. This is the start. Okay. A melodica.
Ah, yeah. Okay, here's my story.
Yeah, okay.
Walking along the side of the road in Nottingham, where I was at university, with a mate of mine. We're messing about, chatting and laughing and stuff, the way you do when you're a teenager. Don't so much when you're in your 20s and 30s. All of a sudden, he thinks it's hilarious to push me into this wall, just as a car came sweeping off the road and ploughed right into a tree next to us, where we would have been if we hadn't been messing about. That, my friends, is cheating death.
Yeah, as predicted, as disappointing as I know it would be. That's not You've been bigging that up for 22 hours. We went for breakfast after the show, the four of us, and you could tell us no, I'll tell you tomorrow. Go on, tell us. I bet it's rubbish. No, I'll tell you tomorrow. It was rubbish.
He said, I'll ask you twice more and you'll tell me, and I didn't.
Are we allowed to call it the Jews harp anymore?
I was going to suggest that, but I don't think we are allowed to call it that anymore, even though everyone knows what it is.
The Jew harp. I've googled Jews harp to see if it's offensive. I don't think it is. I don't think.
Why is it called that though?
The Jews harp, also known as the jaw harp, mouth harp, Ozark harp, or trump.
A what? You put it in your mouth and twang it, don't you?
No, because Jews played it. There we go. So it's perfectly acceptable, I believe, to call it the Jews harp. Okay, that's another one. Yeah, you go. But it's to do with you have your mouth open. What famous? Here we go, Kelly. What famous?
Hang on.
I'm not going to hang on.
Sorry, I was talking to Justin.
Again.
What famous rock song starts with the Jew's harp? It's a very, very famous rock song, and it starts. It's by one of the biggest rock bands of all time, and it starts with. Well, it starts with.
Bow, bow. Is it that?
Well, I don't know what that is.
Bow, bow. That.
What's that?
Bow,
Just say
bow.
the name. Save time and just say the name of the song.
Walk on the Wild Side.
No, that's a bass. Dong, dong,
They might be
dong,
twanging underneath it. You can't hear it.
Dong, 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 dong. The only song we're allowed to play on the BBC that's about.
Yeah, repeatedly.
I'll tell you what. I'll reveal it after we get this word from our sponsors.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's busy in Hemel Hempstead on the A41 southbound from the Hemel Hempstead turn-off towards the M25 junction 20 for Kings Langley. It's reported to be unusually busy for this time of morning. On the A1 southbound there are queues from the Holiday Inn towards the Stirling Corner, and in the St Albans on the North Orbital Road there are roadworks between the Park Street roundabout and the London Coney roundabout with a lane closed each way, so expect it to get busy there later on this morning. A bit further away on the A43 southbound in Brackley, the Westbury roundabout has been closed because of an accident and a lorry shed its load of timber. Smart the breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 6:46. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. A Luton man who sexually assaulted teenage girls at a public school in Aylesbury has been jailed, and protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night with a 4,000-strong petition handed over in support of community groups staying at the Buzzy.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, a very good morning to you. Well, today's going to be a nicer day than we saw yesterday. It's a fairly grey but a mild start, really quite dull this morning. Lots of thick cloud around, and we may well see a few outbreaks of light patchy rain on and off through the course of the rush hour and possibly into the late morning as well. And then it will clear to leave us with a dry, bright afternoon with some spells of sunshine developing as well. So not turning into a bad day at all for this time of year. There's also a fairly brisk northwesterly wind. We're looking at top afternoon temperatures of around 13 or 14 degrees. It's not actually much different to the temperatures that we've got at the moment, to be honest. Overnight tonight it's going to be mild, it will be dry, lots of thick cloud around, the cloud thickening once more, lows of around 9 or 10 degrees. And then into tomorrow, a rather dull grey day. We might just see a few spots of rain from the thickness of the cloud, but otherwise it will stay dry. The weekend's a bit more interesting. On Saturday afternoon we're going to get some outbreaks of rain, some of it quite heavy, quite a chilly night on Saturday into Sunday, and then Sunday dry and bright, the nicer day of the weekend with some sunshine around. And don't forget that the clocks go back on Saturday night, so it's an extra hour in bed. Nice. That's the forecast.
Thank you, Elizabeth!
Three Counties Sport.
This Saturday we'll bring you another 4 live games. In the Premier League, Watford travel to Stoke.
And Odion Carlo won't get an easier chance in all his career.
MK Dons go to QPR in the Championship.
And Simon Church gets the second goal for MK Dons.
And in League 2, Luton host Plymouth.
Marriott takes advantage of the deflection as it was driven in by Bott.
And Stevenage head to Northampton.
Stevenage have got an equaliser. It's Williams who's got it.
Three Counties Sport.
Saturday from 2, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Any ideas, players?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh, you're supposed to be thinking
do
about...
it again? I know I was always. Do it again.
Dong, 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 dong.
Is it...
Is it... Dong, do, 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 do. No, hang on.
Is it something happening here? That one.
No, it starts with the jaw harp.
Who's it by?
Then it goes into the vocals. I was doing jaws harp, drums, and guitar there.
So talented.
So ask me that again.
A one-man mouth band.
I'll. If I say who's it by, you're going to say
yes.
you.
No, ask me the question.
Who's it by?
Yes.
It's by Yes.
No.
Who?
Yes.
The Who.
How are you doing that? Just your mouth.
Like the Kinks, they're such an odd band, The Who. They're so inconsistent. But some of their 70s singles, this and Relay's an odd flop, but man, it's got loads of wah-wah. In fact, tomorrow we're playing Relay by The Who.
This song, though, sounds like it's building to something. It never quite gets there, doesn't it?
That's a lot of their stuff does. I like the build, though. You can really hear that Jaws harp there. That's that done, which is
subliminal messaging there as well.
Subliminal messaging there. I've got my eye on the ball. We've got 30 seconds, and then we're going to play this week's BBC introducing track. Have you got a story? Give us a story.
Cat got drunk. Pet cat went on a 7-week booze bender in a neighbour's wine cellar and lived to tell
cat thing.
Lived to tell the tale. Al Josha, the Turkish Angora
no,
Moggy.
It didn't live to tell the tale. It survived.
Go home, Al Josha. You're drunk. Got through 3 bottles of Riesling, lightweight, after smashing them open.
Yeah, smashed it. Cat smashed it.
Just pop the cork
Cat
in with your
smash
finger.
fever. Kelly Betts, this week's BBC introducing track. It's the second from last week that we have to play this on the show as you're leaving. So tell us a little bit about Elton John and their song Cold Love.
It's a guy called Ethan.
Okay.
Not Elton John.
Okay, that's disappointing. I was looking forward
Sorry.
to hearing that. Okay.
You know, if we ever did reintroducing, then we could play Elton John.
You've given me a brilliant idea for a feature I'm going to do.
Is it called reintroducing?
Yes,
You're
it
going to
is.
play Elton John?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, darling, it's been on my mind. You pull me in, then break me away. Why do you do this to me? I couldn't give you no more. Full of bad intentions, this page is torn. Yeah. But you keep me in my place at night. You keep me in a state of mind. Oh, how could I get by without you? Oh, this is cold love in its prime, and I wish this didn't feel so right. It's addictive. Try to reach you one more time. Your chill keeps me alive. Oh, this is cold love in its prime, and I wish this didn't feel so right. It's addictive. Try to reach you one more time. Oh, your chill keeps me alive. Oh, so alive. So alive, so alive, yeah. Oh, you bring me down to my knees. How could I forget this? What you did to me. You keep me coming back for more. But you keep me in my place at night. Keep me in a state of mind. Oh, how could I get by without you? Oh, this is cold love in its prime, and I wish this didn't feel so right. It's addictive. Try to reach you one more time. Your chill keeps me alive. Oh, this is cold love in its prime, and I wish this didn't feel so right. It's addictive. Try to reach you one more time. Oh, your chill keeps me alive. Oh, so alive. So alive. So alive. Yeah.
Yeah, BBC reintroducing the acts that you may not remember from back in the day. It's a new one from Elton John, big in the 70s, the 80s, got a little bit smaller in the 90s, got big again and then became a dada. Respect to all the gay dads out there. If I wanted to buy that pop record, Kelly Betts, how do I do it?
EltonJohn.com.
Thank you very much indeed.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 clockwise, there's been an accident at junction 7 for Maple Cross, between there and junction 19 for Watford, but it's been put on the hard shoulder, so there are queues, but it's very slow. And the A41 southbound from Hemel Hempstead at the Two Waters Road towards the M25 junction 20 for Kings Langley is busier than usual so at the moment. And on the North Orps Road at the M25 junction 21A roundabout, that's also looking very busy. And the A40 London Road, a bit further out in Wheatley, has been blocked eastbound because of an accident at Wheatley Road. Also, the A43 southbound in Brackley, a lorry set its load of timber at the Westbury roundabout, so that's causing delays southbound by the Buckingham Road Industrial Estate. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Excellent stuff as always. So, busy show coming up. Got a 10-year-old, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Wilson. He's going to come in and produce an hour of the show. 8:30, we've got Shoop Shoop Snagga Bagga Wally Wally Wang Dang coming on the show. That was close. And what have you blocked?
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Council considers legal action over homeless families sent to Luton. Man jailed for sex offences at Aylesbury swimming pool. And protests in support of Milton Keynes community building.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. They say some London boroughs are breaching local overcrowding standards and they'll take them to court over it. It comes as a BBC investigation reveals more than 100 households have arrived in the area. More from Carol Abercrombie.
At least 13 London boroughs have been transferring families to Luton because of a shortage of affordable properties inside the M25. Luton says the numbers are putting pressure on already stretched local services. Councillor Tom Shaw says they've complained to Waltham Forest about 57 families being placed in one housing block in the town. Waltham Forest said it's offering support to the families.
A Luton man who sexually assaulted teenage girls at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury has been jailed. Anthony Crawford from Blenheim Crescent was given a 30-month sentence and placed on the sex offenders register indefinitely. More from Jessica Cooper.
The 40-year-old sexually assaulted 2 teenage girls in the changing area at Aquavale swimming pool in February. He was arrested in April, days after another offence, when he'd looked under a changing room cubicle at a 19-year-old woman getting changed. Everyone Active, which runs the pool, says it has an extensive child safeguarding policy and staff undergo safeguarding training.
The Home Secretary, Theresa May, is to call on the police to do more to increase the ethnic diversity of their workforce. She will tell the National Black Police Association that none of the 43 forces are representative of the communities they serve. Protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night with a 4,000-strong petition handed to councillors in support of community groups staying at the Buzzy, the former bus station building. Make a Difference, which runs community services there, say they're being forced to leave after losing income from the adjacent car park. It's due to be discussed at next month's full council meeting. The new Bond movie, Spectre, filmed at Pinewood in Buckinghamshire, was screened for journalists in London last night. Ahead of its official release on Monday, there were mixed reviews. Boyd Hilton was one of the journalists invited.
I thought it really worked at delivering what you want from a Bond film, really, all the different elements, car chases and spectacular set pieces and the kind of interaction he has with women, and cars and gadgets, all of that stuff, It just feels like a film made by Bond fans for Bond fans.
Great British Bake Off winner Nadia Hussain from Luton is coming back to the town next month to switch on the Christmas lights. Nadia says Lutonians were very supportive during the show and she's honoured to be coming back for the switch on Saturday, November the 28th. In sport, England's cricketers are starting the second test against Pakistan in Dubai. England are unchanged after Ben Stokes was past fit. Pakistan have won the toss and are batting first. The weather, a cloudy start with some rain but improving with sunny spells this afternoon, a maximum temperature 14 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Busy show this morning. What have you blocked? Pocket instruments, near-death experience, and Montevideo is coming on the show later on. Wowzers. Oh 03-459 455 555 is the telephone number.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Luton Council says it's considering legal action against a number of London boroughs who've been dumping people they can't house in the town. More than 100 families have been relocated to Luton, which is dealing with its own housing problems. In the latest move, the Luton Borough of Waltham Forest has bought a block of flats on Cardiff Road, so it can move in around 57 families. Among them is Timothy Alexander, who joins me now. Morning, Timothy.
Morning, Ian. Hi, hello.
Yeah, whereabouts have you moved from?
I moved from Walthamstow to Luton since the 15th of September.
Blimey, that's quite a distance. How did that come about?
Well, I was made homeless along with my wife and son. Yep, through an eviction.
Yeah.
Went to the council for support. Yep, and this is where they moved us to, Luton.
And how do you get a letter one day, Timothy, and you open it up and it says your next place of residence will be in Luton?
No, not at all, because I'm full-time employed by TF Transport for London, so I work for the London Underground.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of us being served with the eviction notice on one day, going to the council for help and being put in Luton on the same day.
Oh, on the same day? Okay.
Same day, yeah. Don't get me wrong, Ian. I'm grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's still a catch-22. Because the point of going to the council is asking for help because I'm actually in a bad situation. But I'm still in that situation of being moved so far out.
Yes, that must be true. Where do you have to get to for work then?
Well, I have to get to central London. Yeah, so I can work in any one of the... Yeah.
That's a trek, isn't it?
Stations.
Yeah, that's a trek.
This is it.
It must have been a shock for you and your family when, you imagine your local council is going to put you up, within, I don't know, a 5-mile radius or something, and then to be shifted out to Luton.
Well, it's a bit of a shock. I mean, as I said before, I'm grateful that I do have a roof over my head, but at the same time, it's a cost. Now I've been moved, let's say, X amount of miles away from where I work. Yep. Yes, I am in cheaper rent, but at the same time, now I have to drive to London every single day. I mean, there are people that commute all over the country to get to work, but they can afford it.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though, I can't afford it. Hence the reason I went to the council.
And who do you live with? We got wife and kids? What's the setup there, Timothy?
Yeah, I've got a wife and a 17-month-old son.
Oh, well, fantastic. Congratulations. I was going to ask how the kids getting on, but obviously blissfully unaware of all the changes that are going on. Must be exciting, actually, for the 17-month-old. And how's your wife finding it?
Well, she's away. She's finding it a bit tough being away from her network of family and friends that she did have within London. She has a master's in business. She wants to get back into work as well. But with the cost of childcare, we're not able to actually put our son in childcare at this point, being so far away. And not having these people around us now is a bit hard. This was given her the opportunity to leave our son by someone so she can then go out and look for work.
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22 once again. Yes, we do have a roof over our head, but it is still hard.
And do you know, Timothy, if there is any chance of you moving back to Walthamstow? Or are you? This is it now? You're here?
No, well, I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we haven't even been given a definitive answer to say whether or not, yes, we are going to help you, or no, we're not going to help you.
Yeah.
It's just been placed here, and our case is still under review.
Well, Timothy, listen, welcome to Luton. It means you get to listen to us every morning. There's some sunshine there, boss.
That's quite right, yeah.
And enjoy the 17-month-old, and I'm sure you'll have lots of fun. And I wish you the best of luck. I hope everything works out for you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, mate. Bye-bye. There we go. 03459 455 555.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
He's a thoroughly decent chap. You're right, Catherine?
Yeah, just got a text back from Scoinsey.
He's got the info?
No.
Oh.
No. Rumoured to be a 6-figure sum, but never got an actual figure.
Okay. Oh, but
I've got 207k between the both.
But basically, let's do this on air, shall we?
Yeah.
Councillor Tom Shaw is threatening to sue various London boroughs if they keep sending people up here, which is interesting. But I'm just trying to remember the specifics of a story that we did a few months ago. Where I have got. Are you more familiar with the story now?
Yeah, this was the council. Do you remember Luton Borough Council tried to appeal against this move in a planning battle with Central Bedfordshire? It was really complicated, so I can understand if people let it go over their heads. But they tried to overturn outline approval given by Central Bedfordshire Council to a development of 5,150 homes and more than 200,000 square metres of retail and industrial space near Houghton Regis, right? They lost on 10 counts. And according to the Luton on Sunday, the total of £207,803 was spent by both councils in legal fees over this case.
Okay, so that's the total. But okay, well, we'll put that to Tom Shaw. Is he really? So basically, he took a legal case to court, and it cost about housing. And it cost them a load of money.
And that was
they
with
lost.
one authority.
Yeah. Is he prepared to potentially spend more money and waste more money on case? And he'll say, well, I'm confident we'll win. Well, you were confident. No one goes to court thinking, oh, I don't think I've got a very strong case. Everyone goes to court thinking they're going to win. But one side generally doesn't. So we'll see. I think,
I can see why they're a bit annoyed. It does seem very cheeky for an authority from outside to buy a whole block of flats and move people in wholesale like that.
Here's the thing. Slight tangent. I do not get why it's called London Luton Airport, because it's not. As this story is telling us, it's not London. It's Luton. I'd be so peed off, right, if I came from, I don't know. Didn't President Xi come via Luton? I think he did.
They take a lot of private jets, don't they?
I think No. He was like doing an easy jet.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. This is the story. He was. I'm sure I read this. President Xi came over from it was like Shanghai to Luton or something. I don't know. And imagine the president gets off because I won't do the voice.
No, don't.
I'm in London. Brilliant. All right. Where's the black taxis? Where's the tube? Well, you're going to need to get a coach.
You're forgetting something. China's big.
Yeah.
So we'll think that it is London because it's big.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's true. Anyway, as his fellas carry him in that little thing, don't they?
The sedan chair.
The sedan chair, isn't it? That's how the... That's how the Chinese rock and roll. Or should that be...
No.
Wok and... Okay. No? Okay. No? Okay. They cook in woks.
They do, yeah. That wasn't the joke I thought you were going to do. It's fine.
What's the matter?
Yeah.
Oh, this cooking is delicious. No, this chicken tastes rubbery. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Nice of you to mention. Anyway, he's in the papers today.
Who?
China.
Right.
President Xi of China. Right. Style... Oh, hang on a minute. It's not just President Xi of China. Do you know who else it is? Kate Middleton. It's not just President Xi of China.
Oh, dear.
Excuse me. And Kate Middleton. Do you know who else it is?
President Xi's wife, Mrs. Xi.
Jackie Chan! Jackie Chan! Oh, I love a bit of Jackie Chan. Hiya! Isn't he just
cheapo Bruce Lee?
Oh, for crying out loud! Yes, at the start, yes, he was, but then he created his own genre of kung fu comedy.
Yeah, slightly camp.
Oh, he's good.
It is though, isn't it?
Go and watch Drunken Master, then watch Young Master, then I'll tell you what. Let's jump forward a few years. Watch Rumble in the Bronx.
I think I know what happens.
He does some wicked kung fu. Man. He's flipping brilliant.
What's the difference between kung fu and karate?
Well, one's Chinese, one's Japanese, mate.
Right.
Kung fu, here we go. As Bruce Lee would say, karate is like being hit with a metal bar. Wham! Kung fu is like a metal bar with a chain at the end of it, and it hurt more.
Oh.
Yeah. That's actual quote from Bruce Lee. Turns out I can quote loads of Bruce Lee. Anyway, Style Queen Kate met Kung Fu King Jackie Chan as the royals again played host to visiting Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Along with husband Prince William, the beaming Duchess towered over the 5'7" martial arts movie legend who wore a bright white suit. Then it goes on to list everyone's clothes.
Who got a karate chop to the windpipe?
I don't think anybody did. I don't think it kicked off.
Pity.
But President Xi's outfit seemed a little less well-fitting yesterday, with the trousers appearing a touch too long. And then there's a picture of his trousers, and his mum could do with taking that up an inch. Really could. He's going to ruin that. He's going to ruin it. Then they went... Oh, for crying out loud. Do you know where they went? They went to a Doctor Who exhibition. Flipping it. The thing is, the Chinese have probably got a real TARDIS. They're so secretive and so far advanced with their technology. They've probably got a real TARDIS.
There's been a lot of nodding and smiling, I think, from the Chinese.
And there's been a lot of bowing and scraping from the British. Can we please have more money into our nuclear power plants? Please, please.
Gosh, that was a lot of scraping.
There's a lot of bowing and scraping and smiling and pleasing going on. Can we please have some more investment into our nuclear power? I don't feel particularly comfortable knowing that the Chinese are building a nuclear power plant. Where is it? It's in Kent, isn't it? Right. and they've got control of the computer, right? It's the Chinese. About 6 months ago, there was like some big hacking thing, and everyone said, it's the Chinese have hacked all the computers and stuff. And they're going to have the nuclear computers.
Look what they did with the T-shirts and the caps for everyone.
They bootlegged them. They made cheap knockoff copies. It'll be nuclear, but it'll be spelled N-E-W-K-L-E, because they spell it wrong on the knockoff, so you know it's a knockoff.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable knowing that there's some China. If we fall out with China, which we will do, then they can just melt us. They can start a nuclear war. We can start a nuclear war with ourselves, thanks to the Chinese.
I think they could probably melt us anyway, couldn't they?
Well, they've probably got with that TARDIS, they've probably got like melty laser guns as well. I think they do.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's been an accident on the M25 clockwise just before junction 19 for Watford, and it's starting to cause a queue back from junction 17 for Maple Cross, and it's also looking slow anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. On the A41 southbound, it's busy from the Hemel Hempstead turnoff towards the M25 at Kings Langley, and on the M1 southbound, it's slow from junction 10 for Luton Airport towards junction 9 for Redbourne. A bit further away, the A43 southbound in Brackley has been blocked because of an accident, and that's at the Westbury roundabout. Of a lorry went across the roundabout at the Buckingham Road Industrial Estate, and also in Wheatley on the A40 London Road. They're accused because lane's been closed by an accident at the junction for Wheatley Road, and on the train departure boards there's no reported problems at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. 7:16. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. The Luton man who sexually assaulted teenage girls at a public swimming school in Aylesbury has been jailed, and protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night to support community groups staying at the Buzzy.
The big story today is about the National Health Service again.
For nearly 100 years, the BBC has been informing, educating and entertaining audiences across the UK.
On all of our frequencies, there's commentary on Luton Town at home to York City.
And every 10 years, there's a government review to consider its future.
The BBC Trust, which represents the views of licence fee payers, would like to know what you think about the BBC's ideas for its future.
To have your say before the 5th of November, call 0800 06 80 116 and request a questionnaire.
Calls are free from mobiles and landlines, or visit bbc.co.uk/tomorrow's BBC.
Tomorrow's BBC Today.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Do it to me, Dennis. Do it to me, Dennis.
Right.
Okay, here we go.
I remember the BBC when it was 2LO calling.
Let's play a game.
Now
Okay.
Nuclear
hello?
power stations.
Hello. Is this on?
Yes.
Yes. Let's play a game. We're going to play a game. It's called the aha game. Okay. Yeah. And we have to come up with songs that have the words aha in it.
Yes.
You can go first. You can have that one we just did if you want, but you've got to sing it.
I don't know any songs that go.
Yeah, we just did one.
No, you must.
Right, I tell you what. Would you like a?
Music is just noisy wallpaper.
Would you like a ringer?
A ringer.
Yeah, I'm going to give you Kath's ringer. Right, Kath, you're his ringer, okay?
Okay, here we go.
So we're playing the aha game. Catherine, you go first.
That's the way. I like it.
Okay. Right, well, in that case, it's my turn, and I will come in with Do it to me, Dennis. Do it to me, Dennis.
I've been trying to do it to you for a long time.
Cheeky. Catherine, your turn. Oh.
Aha, hey, ha, hey, ha.
What the hell
hey,
is it?
Ha. Don't you ever. Morning, Vietnam! That was a good one, wasn't it?
That was an excellent one. Okay. Okay, right.
You're looking them up.
No, I am not looking them up. This is a variation, by the way, and we will play it one day, Catherine, I promise. The Sweet Game. I used to play the Sweet Game. The Sweet Game is a cracking game. Right, okay. Voulez-vous? Aha! 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 Nothing promised, no regrets.
Oh, no.
Dum. Your turn.
Oh, no.
Dennis, if you can think of any, you can step in at any moment.
You've led a weird life.
Yeah, tell me about
it.
it.
A weird life.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Knowing me, knowing you.
That's not fair, because Kelly told you that. But
No, she never.
Yes, she did.
No, she never.
Yes, she did.
No, she never.
Okay.
She never.
Okay, right, fine. Ruby! Ah!
Oh, no.
Yes! That's a yes, isn't it, Den?
Yes, more or less.
Have you done...
Yeah, I've done that one.
Have you done Voulez-Vous?
Yes, but you did that one, mate.
Voulez-Vous, yeah. That's been done.
Man, I think
But it's been done, hasn't it, Dennis?
Yes, I can remember that one.
Yeah, I did it like a minute ago.
Yep.
No, don't, you can't. I heard that. We heard you say, I've got another one, which means the other one was a fake.
I don't know it.
I tell you what, Dennis, should we just get to the point of your phone call? Because I think I won that.
Yes, you were talking about these Chinese building these atomic power stations.
Yeah.
But they're all right as long as you don't find a blue touch paper afterwards when it's built. Right? Just look out for the blue touch paper.
Thank you very much indeed, Rory Bremner there. 03459 455 555. If anyone wants to play the AHA game, then you're more than welcome to. 03459 455 555 now. A man from Luton has been jailed for sexually assaulting teenage girls at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury. Anthony Crawford, who's 40, from Blenheim Crescent, assaulted 2 girls in the changing area at Aquavale swimming pool in February. A few weeks later, he looked under a changing room cubicle at a 19-year-old woman getting changed. He's been given a 30-month sentence and placed on the sex offenders register indefinitely. Well, Paul Roffey is the director of Ray Wire Associates, an independent child protection service in Milton Keynes, specialising in child sexual abuse. Excuse me, Paul, I've got a frog in my throat. These things don't happen very often, do they?
I think it's a difficult one to answer. They probably happen more often than we'd like them to.
Well, yeah, if it happened once, that would be more often than I would like it to. But they don't. What I don't want this to become is one of those things where parents are scared to allow their kids to go swimming. There's not an epidemic of paedophiles touching up kiddies in swimming pools, is there?
I'd like to think that's not true. I mean, I agree with you. I think we need to get on with our lives and just recognise that there are risks and manage risks rather than change our lives for fear of something that may never happen. That doesn't stop the reality that there are people out there who will take advantage of very normal situations for their own very twisted ends.
What should parents be doing to ensure? I mean, a story like this isn't necessarily going to make me change my my swimming habits, but then my kids are 5 and 3, so I would be with them at all times. What can parents do?
I think you just answered your own question. I think the key to sort of safe parenting is to be with your children, even if you're taking them to activities where you're leaving them. Always be the parent that brings the child. Always be the parent that's there 5 minutes before the activity ends. One of the things that we know from our work with these people is that they're very good at identifying and targeting vulnerability in children. So the more you can do to make clear that your child is a well-cared for, well-protected child who has a family or are constantly around making sure everything is okay, that should assist in taking the child off the radar, but that's not a guarantee.
I'd never particularly considered swimming pools to be necessarily an unsafe place.
Well, I think I understand what you're saying, but of course, from the perspective of somebody who's interested in getting access to children and getting access to children in a state of undress, swimming pools are an ideal place. It's not an uncommon place to find somebody who's a swimming coach who has an unhealthy interest in children.
Well, no. It is uncommon to find swimming coaches who have unhealthy interest in children. It's uncommon.
Okay.
We have to be so careful with our language here because I don't want to scare anybody off. It's half term, and I don't want to scare anybody off going swimming. So you cannot say it's not uncommon to find swimming coaches that have got interest in kids.
Let me qualify that. From my perspective, when we're looking for where the sorts of people who are at risk to children can be found, it is not uncommon to find them targeting those activities where there are children.
Yeah, but your initial implication was that the majority of swimming coaches are paedophiles.
I wouldn't know. That's not what I said.
Well, then I'm glad you've clarified it. Yeah. I just worry, Paul, that there are no more paedophiles than there were 50 years ago. You know, and of course, the Dodge Pot's going to target kids. They can target them anywhere. I just worry that we're just scaring people for no reason whatsoever.
But I think what you've just said is equally true. There possibly are no more paedophiles than there were 50 years ago. The problem is 50 years ago we didn't have a clue how many there were. So one of the issues that's happened in the last 50 years...
No, we still don't have a clue how many there are.
No, we don't. But I was about to say, but what has happened in the last 50 years is we've become more aware of the possibility that there are adults out there who will target children for their own sexual...
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, one case is one case too many, but it's not an epidemic. You know, I just
I've never said it's an epidemic. I just think it's something that is there, and we need to be mindful of it. And as parents, we have to play our part in doing all we can to keep our children safe and other people's children safe.
I'm just trying to think. My kids are 5 and 3, so I go and get changed with them, and we get a little changing room, and we get changed together. I'm trying to think what age I started going swimming on my own. 12, something like that. I think I'd let the boys go swimming at 12 on their own. I'd drop them off, go and have a coffee in the thing, watch from the viewing gallery. I'd let them go and do all that. That sounds about all right, doesn't it?
I think that, if I can use the word common, I think that's probably quite a common age for young people to start establishing independent behaviour. That doesn't mean they're not at risk, though.
No, but, you know, I'm at risk now from the ceiling falling in on me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I said. It's about managing risk. It's not about...
I just worry that we're scaring our kids and we're protecting our kids too much, and it's not funny.
No, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at the idea. I think we always struggle with balancing managing risk with scaring our children. I think the managing risk is not about scaring our children. It's about understanding that there are risks. We wouldn't accuse anybody of scaring their children at the risk of crossing a road, would we?
So I don't...
We would expect them to understand that there is a risk when you cross the road, and you manage that risk and you look for that risk. That's all we're talking about.
All right, Paul, thank you very much indeed. Paul Rofi, Director of Ray Wire Associates, 03459 455 555. Yes, we've got to be so careful in our language when we talk about... and I'm glad Paul clarified what he was saying about the swimming coaches, because the initial implication that I picked up from that was it's not uncommon to find swimming coaches that are paedophiles. That there are a significant number of swimming coaches that are paedophiles. There's not. There'll be a few. There's a few DJs that are paedophiles. There are a few producers that are paedophiles. There are a few coppers that you know, they're everywhere, right? But it's not. You're not going to necessarily. It's not a higher ratio of swimming. I just worry that we are. That stories like this often get treated in the media as there are an epidemic of paedophiles. Your children are not safe even in the local swimming pool.
Do you know when I became aware that a swimming pool area was a risk to my personal safety was when our swimming instructor was forbidden from getting in the pool with us anymore.
Oh, bloody.
It's like, why is George not getting in anymore? Well, you see, it was that moment. We'd never thought about it before then.
I don't know. I just... I'm trying. Do you know what? My head is not clear enough to try and put in express exactly what I'm trying to feel. I just worry that certain media outlets and certain organisations will, with a story like this, will have a field day with it and will leave us all feeling a little bit. Swimming pools are just as safe as they were yesterday. You know, despite this story, they're just as safe as they were 20 years ago.
This guy wasn't a member of staff. Let's not forget that.
You know, and I'm not in any way demeaning what happened. Anyway, I'm getting all confused and stuff. It doesn't really matter. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1, there's a lane blocked southbound because of a two-car accident between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable, and we just had a call from Steve to say that the accident is in the outside lane and emergency services aren't there yet, so it might be causing some delays already though. On the M25 clockwise, they're accused because of an accident just before junction 19 for Watford, which is causing a delay all the way from junction 17 for Maple Cross, and also on the M25 it's busy from junction 21 for the M1 anti-clockwise towards junction 19 for Watford as well. On the A1M it's very slow southbound through junction 7 for Stevenage, but there's no reported problems on the train so far this morning. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much indeed. OK, next hour of the show, or so thereabouts, we've got Montevideo and the Cassettes coming on live. I say live, I mean, we were in an interview we did yesterday, but it doesn't matter. We've also got a 10-year-old lad coming in to produce the next 60 minutes of radio. What?
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30, I'm Simon Oxley. Luton Borough Council says it's had enough of London boroughs sending their homeless families to the town. It says it's contemplating legal action. Police have praised the bravery of two teenage girls for giving evidence against a Luton man who sexually assaulted them at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury. He's been jailed for 30 months. A man has been shot dead by police in St Neots in Cambridgeshire last night. And protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night with a 4,000-strong petition handed to councillors in support of community groups staying at the Buzzy, the former bus station building.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers have started the second test against Pakistan in Dubai. England are unchanged after Ben Stokes was past fit. Pakistan won the toss. They're batting first. A short while ago, they were 24 without loss. In last night's Champions League matches, Manchester City scored a stoppage time winner to beat Sevilla 2-1, whilst Manchester United drew 1-1 away to CSKA Moscow. United manager Louis van Gaal says they can progress to the knockout stages.
You can say that we are at home very strong. So I hope that we can win these games, and then you are nearly qualified or you are already qualified. But then we have still an away match against Wolfsburg. So we are on schedule, I think.
In the Europa League tonight, Liverpool play their first home match under new manager Jurgen Klopp as they host Rubin Kazan. Tottenham are away to Anderlecht. Milton Keynes Dons are down to 20th in the Championship after Brentford won at Wolves last night and Leeds drew at Fulham. Luton Borough Council have welcomed Luton Town's plans to develop land at Junction 10 of the M1 to finance a new stadium elsewhere in the town. Labour's deputy leader on the council, Sian Timoney, told BBC Three Counties the stadium itself would not be at Junction 10, but wouldn't reveal the possible sites for relocation.
That would be down to the club, and I know that they've got a couple of options that they're currently looking at, but it wouldn't be on the Junction 10 site. It wouldn't be for me to say, well, I think they should go here, I think they should go there.
Yeah, but you must have had a conversation with them. I mean, you're all working together. You must know what they're thinking.
Yeah, I do. I know that they're looking at various sites, and it wouldn't be right of me to name them.
And in boxing, Hatfield's Billy Joe Saunders appears at a London press conference today with Ireland's Andy Lee, ahead of their world middleweight title fight in Manchester in December. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we've paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Okie dokie. Fader's open, Wilson. There's no going back. Now, I can't remember. Why did we... I don't even know why we agreed to this. Wilson is a young man who is... Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
10 years old today.
Yeah.
What does it feel like being 10?
Not really that different to being 11.
Well, hang on, you've not been 11 yet.
Oh, yeah, 9.
Unless it's Benjamin Button. Unless he's living it backwards. I think he let a little slip there. He's a time traveller. And your wife, what does she think about you being 10? Is she happy that you've reached double figures now?
I don't have a wife.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure I'm sure she'll come back. Now, you got in touch, and I can't remember how this happened. And you basically said you wanted to produce the show.
Yeah.
Why did I say yes, Catherine? Why did I say yes?
Because you'd fallen out with me at that point.
Yeah. I was eyeing up a new producer, and okay. Why do you want to produce the show, Wilson?
Because I really like you, because you're a brilliant presenter.
Yep, keep this coming.
I've been listening to your past shows.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy them.
There you go, you see. Now can I just thank you?
Well done on sticking to the script, Wilson.
Oh, button it, Bets. That is respect, okay? And everyone that says we're living in broken Britain and, it's all kids running around off their minds on hooch and stuff like that, that's the future. Wilson's the future, and the future is bright. Okay, well, you... I know exactly who you are, don't I? Hang on a second, let me get me...
Speaking of broken Britain.
Speaking of broken Britain, this is...
Broken Britain.
Yeah, there we go.
I am broken Britain.
That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's me.
And this is also you.
You are listening to Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. What an idiot.
Yeah. That guy said that.
And then he gets in here and he's sucking up to you.
That guy said that. Well, we'll let him off, because that's why he's being so nice. I believe they call it trolling. I think. Are you trolling me?
No.
Okay. Anyway. So, all right then, the show's yours. What do you want us to do? I got to warn you, we haven't got Dealey, because Dealey's off on a boring story. We've got to do a couple of boring stories, because we're the BBC, and that's sort of what we have to do. One of those B's stands for boring. I can't tell you what the other B stands for. When you're 18, I'll send you an email. Probably 8 years' time, it'll be just like a thought mail.
Mind mail.
I'll send you a mind mail.
Yeah.
And that'll be the image on the computer. That'll be that. So what do you want us to do?
Well, I had a few topics for what we were going to do.
Okay, well, let's 03 459 455 505. He's 10 years old. Come on, guys, call in. What do you want us to do then? We'll do it.
One of the topics was, what have you ever thrown out of a window?
Oh, I was about to mime smoking a cigarette then. It's a vape. What have you ever thrown out of a window? I don't think I've ever thrown anything out of a window, because that's kind of a naughty thing to do. I mean, out of the... Go on, Catherine. Catherine mimed throwing up there.
Yeah, I did. I threw my lunch out.
But of a house... Now, do you mean a house window or any window?
Any window.
It was out of my house because...
You threw it out of a house window?
I was a student. The toilet was upstairs. There were people in the living room.
Do you feel free to question her further, Wilson, if you like?
I'm not sure I want to.
No, I think that's the story.
What a disgusting lady. Yeah. What a disgusting lady. She's got kids as well, and, hopefully the social services will get my thought mail.
I threw a CD out once of the window.
Really?
Yeah, it was
in
terrible.
a rage?
It was terrible. Didn't even want it near me.
Wow, it was so bad it didn't even make BBC Introducing. Gosh, that must have been awful. I had an argument with a girlfriend once and threw...
her out. Wow.
No, I threw Darius's autobiography out of the window.
Oh!
Yeah.
I had a bin bag full of my housemate's clothes that I threw out of the window.
Wowzers.
He was annoying me. We went away, the girls, because I live with 7 people. Don't do that, Wilson, when you go to university.
So that makes 8 people in total?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It was horrible, right?
That's a lot of people.
The flat was a tip,
man.
right?
That's going to stink.
There were 3 of us girls, the rest were all boys, right? When we went away for the weekend, the girls, we came back to find that the sofa had been removed from the living room and they put a weights bench in instead, which then they proceeded to hang, because they were rowers, hang like their dirty rowing kit off. And it was just a pile. Oh, it was horrible. So one day I got the whole lot out the window.
And how did that go down with the rowers?
Don't care.
Yeah.
03459 455 555. Wilson's come up with all this stuff all by himself. He's chucking it out. Yeah. We may not get any calls. Don't take it personally.
No, I don't really mind.
Sometimes I throw gold out there, absolute gold. And we get, for example, this morning I'm asking, what have you blocked? Nobody's called in.
No. It's not your birthday, though.
Well, that's true. That's true. What else you got, Wilson?
I've got, what have you ever found on the floor?
What have you ever found?
Nothing.
You've never found anything?
No, well, nothing of interest apart from stone and cement, and that's it.
Well, that is the
mud.
floor. That's the floor.
Yeah,
that's not what floor have you found. It's what have you found on that floor.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever found anything. Well, Catherine probably has.
I found a gold brooch.
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, and we tried to trace the old lady who had clearly fallen off, but we couldn't. And so my mum still got it somewhere. It looks like a really old-fashioned one. It's got pearls in
What
it.
do you mean? What do you mean you tried to trace?
Shouted, "Old lady, old lady!" Nothing.
All right, Wilson. Here's the thing, right? You're walking down the street.
Yeah.
There's nobody there.
Mhm.
Right, walk down. You have a look on the floor. Oh, there's a wallet. There's a wallet. You pick it up because you would do. Because you
obviously.
You're a human being. Of course you're going to pick it up. It'd be crazy not to. You look in. By the way, do you know this song?
Yeah.
Who is it?
The Kinks. The Kinks.
And what's the
Kinks.
what's the song's title?
The song's title is.
He
Really
can't.
Want You?
Yeah, really, do you know what? Let me try. Really want you. Yeah. And let's just see if it works. Hang on, bear with me 1 second, Wilson. Yeah, I really want you. I really want you. Yeah, that fits. Okay.
Yeah.
You find a wallet on the floor, right?
Yeah.
There's £20 in there. Think of all the I don't know, like Lego. What are you into?
I'm into Star Wars.
Think of all the. Do you like Lego?
Yeah.
Think of all the Lego Star Wars you could buy for 20 quid. Not a lot actually, because it's well expensive.
Yeah.
So there's still £20 in there.
Yeah.
What do you do with the wallet?
Most probably sell it, and then you have most free make more, or just return it to the man.
No. Mum and Dad are jumping up and down in fury. He's broken. Wilson's broken. We brought the wrong Wilson. I like your style. You'd sell the wallet.
Yeah.
Where would you sell it?
Wherever I could.
Yeah, you just go
well,
around.
first I would try and find who it is.
No.
because-
That was the second thing you
Yeah.
said. That was the second thing you said. The implication being, if you couldn't find a buyer for the wallet, then you'd go, no one's buying it. I'll send it. Okay, there's no name in it. There's no
Yeah.
address. It's just like a wallet. It's got 20 quid in
Yeah.
it.
If it's a random wallet, I'm just gonna take the money and sell it.
But then
Unless somebody walks up and says,
Yeah.
"Hang on, that's my wallet."
But
and
then also in the wallet, and I failed to
Yeah.
mention this, there's a picture of 2 babies and a puppy. Still want to sell that wallet, Wilson?
no.
Yeah, you see? You see?
Well, no, but then that could track down who has it, because then you know that he has a dog, and what type of dog it is.
Yep. A
And
lot of people have
knows that it
babies,
has
though.
to- Yeah.
A lot of people have babies. Lee's on the line. Morning, Lee!
Morning, Ian. You all right?
You're through to
Hello.
Wilson. Wilson, talk to Lee.
Hello, Lee.
Hello, Wilson. You all right, mate?
Yeah, fine. How are you all?
I'm not too bad. Just woke up, so I'm a bit groggy, but I'm all right.
Good.
Good.
What you got for Wilson, Lee? What you got for Wilson?
The throwing out the window.
Beautiful.
Yes.
By the way, my microphone is going off. It's just
Yeah.
you 2 guys now. Have the chat. I'm gone.
Okay, yeah, me and you, Wilson. No worries.
Yeah.
I went to my cousin's. I think it was her 18th or 21st birthday party, and I had a bit too much to drink, as adults will do from time to time. Exactly. That's correct. When we were driving home, I threw up out of the window, basically all the way home, which was from Northampton to Milton Keynes. I know. It wasn't very nice. And the day after, my dad had to return the car because it was a company car. So he wiped it all down, like washed all. He didn't have to return it the day after. I think they were going on holiday. So he had to clean it all up for me because I was in bed the morning after. I think he was driving, possibly my brother was sitting in the back the day after, wherever they were driving to. And he pulled the belt. He went to do his seatbelt up, and a load of flakes of dry spit just sort of fluttered all over him like snow. It was terrible. But yeah, that's what I've thrown out of a window, mate.
Well, did the company take the car back? Is the question.
I think after they found the flakes of snow and my brother was really angry with me, my dad then had to pull the belt out and clean it right to the top of the belt. So yeah, I got in a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah.
Lee, thank you very much. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And I think the lesson from there is don't drink, young man. Or if you're going to drink so much you can't remember the evening. That's the other. I tell you what you don't get. What you don't get now. You're maybe of a generation that remembers this, Catherine.
Go on.
In the 70s.
What?
And early 80s, Wilson,
No.
it was very common for young people to get travel sick because we didn't have car seats.
Yeah.
We could climb all over the place and mess around and stuff. So we'd get car sick, right?
Yeah.
And I can't remember a single journey in my dad's car. Also had black fake leather in the seats as well. It's a horrible material.
The smell.
So I cannot remember a car journey from the age of 5 to 9 where either me or my sister... It's a long period. We must have been tired.
Very long.
Either me or my sister did not throw up out of the car. And every long journey, the memory I have is my dad knocking on someone's door, a stranger's door, asking for a bucket of water to clean the car. Did your dad ever do that?
I never
Kath?
actually threw up, but I remember feeling on the verge a lot. And he would never buy those like rubber tails for the car because he said they were nonsense and they would ruin the look of his Datsun.
They were not Datsun. Was he always a minicab driver? Wilson, stay there.
Yeah.
Oh, in fact, I tell you what, Wilson, we've got to go to the travel.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce the travel for us, please?
Yeah. We are at BBC Three Counties Radio. Here's the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M1 southbound between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable because of an accident that happened just before junction 11 earlier and blocked the outside lane. On the M25, there are queues anti-clockwise between junction 15 for the M4 to 19 for Watford now because of a breakdown, even though all the lanes are open again. And on the A1M, it's very busy southbound from junction 9 for Letchworth to 7 for Stevenage. It's also slow on the A1 southbound from the St Leas junction towards the Black Cat roundabout. There's no reported problems at the moment on the trains. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. 7:46, BBC Three Counties Radio. These are your headlines on Thursday, the 22nd of October. Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. Police have praised the bravery of 2 teenage girls for giving evidence against a Luton man who assaulted them at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury. And protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night to support community groups staying at the Buzzy. And now Wilson is going to introduce the weather.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's good.
And here's the radio.
Oh, the weather.
Oh, the weather.
The weather on the radio.
The weather on the radio.
Roberto better be worried. He better be...
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, good morning. It's a very mild start to the day today. We've got lots of thick grey cloud around as well. It's not a very promising start, but it will slowly get better as we head into the afternoon. Maybe a few outbreaks of just light patchy rain and drizzle around this morning, and then things improving as we head into the afternoon with some brightness and probably even some spells of sunshine developing as well. A fairly brisk northwesterly wind throughout, but all in all, it's a nicer day than we saw yesterday, and certainly will end on a dry, bright note. So top temperatures today up to around 14 Celsius. It's not too far off what we've got at the moment, in fact, but it will feel a touch fresher this afternoon despite the brightness. Now into this evening and overnight, then it's going to be quite cloudy again. The cloud will re-thicken and we'll see lows of around 9 degrees. It should stay mostly dry. Tomorrow again mostly dry, perhaps a few spots of rain falling from the thickness of the cloud. Overall a cloudy day tomorrow, a bit more significant weather over the weekend. We'll see some outbreaks of rain on Saturday afternoon, then quite a chilly night on Saturday into Sunday. Sunday, lovely day with plenty of sunshine and it will stay dry. That's the forecast.
On BBC Two. Our ancestors took this land, and it has been strengthened with our blood and bone. Send word to rouse the country. I want every man inside this fortress, and every man must be prepared to die. A new, epic 8-part series based on the novels by Bernard Cornwell.
Soon all the kings in England shall be kings of nothing, and then the greatest prize is the last kingdom.
The birth of an England, the idea of a single kingdom has to begin here.
The Last Kingdom starts tonight at 9 on BBC Two.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
All right, here's our next caller. His name is Tony.
Good morning.
Hello, Tony.
Hello, okay, I'm calling in response to your question about things that have been thrown from the window.
Mm-hmm.
This story goes back many years. I should probably qualify this by saying that I'm in my mid-30s now and considerably calmer than I was at the time. So back when I was maybe about 17 or so, there was an occasion when I was upstairs working in what would have been my bedroom at the time, working away on my computer, probably doing some work for school, and the computer I was working on crashed. Okay,
no.
Right, so around about this time, back in the late 90s, computers they had something called a base unit, and this was a box that was about the size of a suitcase that held all the gubbins for the computer.
Yeah.
So I then proceeded to, in absolute fury, pick up the computer base unit and throw it from the window of the upstairs room I was working in.
Oh, it was upstairs as well.
It was upstairs. But it gets better. I threw the box out of the window. The box landed in the back garden on top of the garden table. Okay? The top of the garden table bent at an angle, and the box then ricocheted back towards the house and broke the kitchen window. Yeah, that's what happened to me many moons ago. I wouldn't do it again, and when my mother returned some hours later, she found me in the kitchen, full of glass, with a new pane of window ready to go in, and myself with my tail between my legs, trying to explain what had happened.
Excellent stuff, Tony. Thank you very much. Good call.
Here, next up, here's Rosie.
Oh, hello. Hi, Wilson.
Hello, Rosie.
Hi. Another window story for you.
Yeah?
Fairly disgusting, this one, actually. Again, a long time ago, because I'm quite elderly, and my brother was 3, and I was 8, and I was listening to a vinyl record. You know what those are, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
And it was called Squirrel Nutkin. And I'd listened to one side, and my brother came in and wanted the same side, and I said no. My mum sent him to his room, and he threw his coffee at the window.
Oh.
But the thing was, it broke the window, sailed out through the window, and it wasn't empty when he threw it.
Oh. That's not good whatsoever.
Now, Wilson, if you did something like that,
Yeah.
I've met your dad. Is he? Well, he looks like a pushover, to be honest. I'm wondering what type of punishment you would get if you did something like that. Would you get a sound thrashing? Would you be grounded for a month? What would happen?
Even more, Ian.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Much more.
This is why you're so polite. This is why you're doing such a good job, Mum and Dad, who I can see through the glass, because you're old-fashioned, traditional punishments. Do you get pocket money?
Yeah.
What's the deal? Because listen, I've got 2 boys, 5 and 3, so I've got a few years to go yet. Thank you, Rosie. What's the deal on pocket money? What's the going rate these days?
I used to get £5 a week
Flipping heck.
from my mum and from my dad.
Yeah, I hope it's gone down since then.
No.
How much do you get now?
Well, whenever I wanted a raise in my pocket money,
A
I had
raise?
to
What the hell is
write I had to write a little slip for them to sign.
So
and I got a raise to to £12. But there's 7, but they each give me £7 a week.
Well, that makes £14.
Oh yeah, I didn't work that one out. Yeah, 14.
They've had you for a pub. Yeah, £7 each. That's £12 in total. Will. Yeah, 14 quid a week. What do you have to do for that? Go up chimneys? What do you clean their cars?
Just do things like hoovering the upstairs. My job is upstairs.
He's earning more than me.
Hoovering the upstairs toilet.
Yes.
And
you got carpet in the upstairs toilet.
Not toilet.
How common.
Oh yeah, toilet. Carpet in the upstairs toilet and the full upstairs, but downstairs we're going to get wood, I think.
Yeah.
And
here's a tip for when you grow up, and this, trust me, when I was a kid I thought carpet in the toilet, the coolest thing ever. No, get rid of the... Hey, do you remember, you won't remember this.
No.
Because you're 10. In the 70s it was fashionable to have carpet on the toilet seat cover. Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
To match a carpet in the
Yeah, my nan used to have that green carpet on the toilet seat cover.
You couldn't have... Just thinking of having carpet on the toilet seat is horrible. But then green...
Trust me, the 70s were horrible. You'll see all these programmes saying the 70s and 80s, oh, they're so cool. They weren't. They were flipping horrible. My nan, my great-gran in the 70s, still had an outside toilet. That's how old I am. I'm old enough to remember not wanting to go to Nanny Menegin's because she had an outside toilet and I have to go outside. Scraps of newspaper on a little bit of string!
Get this, Wilson. Do you know what my grandparents used to keep in the toilet? All the fizzy pop
Because it was the coldest room. So you'd have that in there. I used to spend a long time in there drinking all the pop.
We're getting. By the way, we're going to go to the story in a second. We're getting Alan Sugar here on the text. Wilson, you're hired. And so, what is this, Steve? I love how Wilson has had more calls than Iain ever gets. Steve,
No.
Well, actually, you've come up with a blinder. Can I do? I've got to do a little bit of business.
Yeah.
Come back to you in a second.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. Now, protesters marched on last night's full council meeting at Milton Keynes to show their opposition to a number of cuts affecting the community. The activists, led by MK People's Assembly, presented a petition signed by over 3,000 people to save the Buzzy, a community space near to the train station. And they also have concerns about plans to close some fire stations and remove funding for the YMCA Homeless Centre. Well, Kevin Vickers is the chair of Milton Keynes Against the Cuts. Kevin, what happened at last night's protest?
It was amazing. There were over 100 people walking through the streets of Milton Keynes, chanting no more cuts and defending public services. So it was really amazing to see so many people out and all in support of community assets and in support of firefighters and in support of services for young disabled people. So it was a brilliant evening.
What did the council have to say about it?
Well, it's really interesting, actually. It's actually quite a complicated situation. I mean, there are three separate but related issues. You mentioned the Bussey building, which is a community space, it's a community asset. You also mentioned the fire service and the YMCA. So we actually got involved in this originally, although we're very keen to highlight the links between all of these issues, because we saw an article that the Bussey building, which is the building right opposite Central train station in Milton Keynes, was going to close its doors. Once you start looking into this, you find out that actually that building is owned by Milton Keynes Development Partnership. They are owned by the council. And when you ask questions of Milton Keynes Development Partnership, they say it's nothing to do with them. It's actually all to do with the council in terms of the way this building is funded. And last night at a council meeting, the leader of the council, who's actually on the board of the Development Partnership, said that the revenues that are used for that building are actually nothing to do with the council. It's all to do with the Milton Keynes Development Partnership. So that was the line that he took, completely contradicting the chief executive of the Development Partnership, who said that it was a council decision.
Where would you, you don't want these cuts, where would you make the cuts then? Because cuts have to be made, don't they? Councils across the country getting their budget slashed. Where would you cut and save money?
I would question that. I mean, that assumption that cuts have to be made is I mean, I don't know why that people say that. There is
because the government have ordered councils to make massive cuts. That's why.
Yeah, they have done. Yeah.
Yeah. So where would you make the cuts?
Well, first of all, if I was a councillor, for example, if I was the leader of the Labour Party minority council in Milton Keynes, I would actually put forward some sort of opposition to that and say, first and foremost, I'm not prepared to, as a party that's supposed to be a party of the people, not put cuts through that affect vulnerable people. So let's talk.
Okay. No. Let's Kevin. I mean, listen. These cuts have to be made. So where would you make the cuts? These tough decisions have to be made. Where would you cut?
We're talking about a decision that's been made centrally and that's been forced down on local councils. We're spending about £120 billion on renewing the Trident nuclear weapons system. Kevin.
I mean, yeah, it's all well and good saying, well, they're going to spend this much money on Trident, but they're not going to cut Trident so that they can keep a community centre open in Milton Keynes. The cuts are happening.
We need to have a discussion, and this is part of what the People's Assembly are trying to do about
the cuts have to happen. Okay, the councils are getting their funding slashed. So I'll ask you for the last time: where would you make the cuts?
I'm absolutely against all cuts that affect communities.
So am I, but they're going to happen. So where would you make the cuts?
Let's talk about where the money is. There's 100.
No. Kevin, it's the final. Last time I'm going to ask you this: where would you make the cuts? They have to be made. So where would you make them?
Stand up and say, and this is what we're trying to do as the People's Assembly, is to say, people, you don't have to stand for this. Well, let's talk about our values in society. Let's say, do we want to cut public services, or do we want to remove things like Trident? Do we want to remove?
Okay, Kevin. Well, listen. I think going off on Trident is that's a different issue. You know, but these cuts are happening now. Kevin, thank you very much indeed. Kevin Vickers, chair of the Milton Keynes Against the Cuts. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M1 southbound because of an accident between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable. All the lanes are open again, but it's still very slow, and it's also slow northbound between junction 11 for Dunstable towards junction 12 for Flitwick. On the M25 clockwise, there are queues from junction 15 for the M4 towards junction 19 for Watford. That's because of a breakdown earlier on at the start of rush hour. It's still causing some delays. And Hazelmere Penn Road's been blocked by an accident at Rushmore Avenue near the Mayflower pub, and one of the cars has smoke coming out of it, so all emergency services are there. And on the train departure boards, it's no reported problems at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much indeed. So far from Wilson, our 10-year-old producer, we've got, what have you chucked out the window? What was the other one, Wilson?
And what have you ever found on the floor?
Oh, yeah, and if you found 20 quid in a wallet and there was no name, Wilson would sell it. What would you do?
Local and vocal across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Luton Council considers legal action over influx of homeless families from London. Police praise bravery of Aylesbury swimming pool assault victims, and protests over community building in Milton Keynes.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Luton Borough Council says it's had enough of London boroughs sending their homeless families to the town. It says it's contemplating legal action over increasing numbers of people being placed in a local rented sector which is already stretched. They say some London boroughs are breaching local overcrowding standards. The London Borough of Waltham Forest has around 57 families in a converted office block on Cardiff Road in Luton. One of those residents is Nicola Chapman, a mother of 4 young children.
I'm not happy at the moment because it's given me really bad anxiety. Also, I'm having to take my child to school every morning and walk a 40-minute walk. I have no friends and family round here, and it's causing me a lot of stress.
Police have praised the bravery of 2 teenage girls for giving evidence against a Luton man who sexually assaulted them at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury. Thames Valley Police says it's down to the girls that Anthony Crawford from Blenheim Crescent in Luton has been given a 30-month jail sentence and placed on the sex offenders register indefinitely. Jessica Cooper reports.
The 40-year-old sexually assaulted 2 teenage girls in the changing area at Aquavale swimming pool in February. He was arrested in April, days after another offence, when he'd looked under a changing room cubicle at a 19-year-old woman getting changed. Everyone Active, which runs the pool, says it has an extensive child safeguarding policy and staff undergo safeguarding training.
A man in his 40s has been shot dead by Cambridgeshire police. Officers were called to a property in St Neots yesterday evening after concerns were raised for people at the address. Protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night with a 4,000-strong petition handed to councillors in support of community groups staying at the Buzzy, the former bus station building. Make a Difference, which runs community services there, say they're being forced to leave after losing income from the adjacent car park. There were also protests about plans to merge fire stations and remove funding for the YMCA. The former Conservative Chancellor, Lord Lawson, says it would be wholly wrong for the House of Lords to block cuts to tax credits. Lord Lawson says reforming tax credits may need tweaking, but he's urging peers not to block cutting them.
Wholly wrong constitutionally, wholly wrong for the unelected House of Lords. They can debate the thing and should debate and should argue about it, but to do anything that would kill something of a financial nature which has been through the House of Commons, approved by the House of Commons, not once but twice.
Great British Bake Off winner Nadia Hussain from Luton is coming back to the town next month to switch on the Christmas lights. Nadia says Lutonians were very supportive during the show, and she's honoured to be coming back for the switch on Saturday, November the 28th. In sport, England's cricketers have started the second test against Pakistan in Dubai. England are unchanged after Ben Stokes was past fit. Pakistan won the toss. They're batting first. A short while ago, they were 41 without loss. The weather, a cloudy start with some rain, but improving with sunny spells this afternoon. A maximum temperature 14 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Hello, my name is Wilson. I am 10 years old. We are our topics are: what have you ever thrown out of a window? What have you ever blocked? And what have you ever found on the floor?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Wilson, thank you very much indeed. Excellent stuff. He's producing the show for the next 30 minutes or so. Mm-hmm. All I'm suggesting is Roberto better watch out because he's good. Wilson, stay there. Yeah. This bit might be a little bit boring for you, but we'll don't worry. We'll crack on with it. No disrespect to my next guest at all. I'm sure you get it. 03459 455 555 if you want to phone up and answer any of Wilson's questions there. What have you found on the floor? What have you chucked out the window? And can we, Catherine? We've had several stories of people chucking their lunch out of the window, so
enough
to speak.
Of that, thank you.
That's enough of that, I think.
I realise I started it.
Yes.
But I'll finish it.
Thank you very much. It's often the way one goes and everyone goes, but let's maybe try and let's try and move on from that, shall we? Now. Luton Borough Council says it's had enough of London boroughs dumping homeless families in the town. It says that over 150 families have been placed from London and is considering taking legal action over the increasing numbers. It comes as a BBC investigation has discovered the London Borough of Waltham Forest has around 57 families living in a converted office block on Cardiff Road. I'm playing. Have I got audio here? Is that what that is? Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Justin has been there this morning. Justin Dealey has been there this morning. That's why he's been a bit quiet. He's been speaking to Nicola Chapman. She and her 4 kids are living in a bedsit.
So, Nicola, this is your 1-bedroom bedsit. Your 4 children are here. Just remind us how old your 4 children are.
One's 5, one's 3, and the other 2 are nearly 11 months.
So cramped in here. Where on earth do you all sleep?
The 2 older children sleep in a double bed, and the 2 babies sleep in a travel cot.
Right. How can you live your life like this?
Well, I just have to get on with it for my children's sake, really. I ain't really got a choice. I'm put here and the council ain't moving me, so there's nothing much I can do. As well, I suffer with anxiety, so the doctor's written to them and I haven't heard back.
I'm going to keep this as brief as I can because you've well and truly got your hands full this morning. You're about to go to school. That's a 40-minute walk compared to a 10-minute walk when you was back in London. What's your message, just lastly, to the powers that be that have put you in this situation?
Just that it's ridiculous. I don't know why you've done it. Like, it's for a very silly reason, I think. Like, who comes first then? Why have you put us here? Why have you put all these families here? Like, you need to give us answers, because it's just not right.
Well, in a moment we'll speak to Tom Shaw, who's in charge of housing at Luton Borough Council. But first, let's speak to the leader of the Conservative opposition at Waltham Forest Council, Matt Davis. Morning, Matt.
Morning.
What do you think about this, moving people out of your area to Luton?
Well, I think in principle it is something we don't want to do to people. I mean, I have to say, as the leader of the opposition, it's not something that I have any control whatsoever.
If you were in power, would you change it?
I'll be looking at other alternatives, but the question would be, what are they? I can't imagine for a moment this is a decision that anybody took lightly.
But you know that Luton's got its got a massive housing problem. So why should they have to take on your people?
Well, I think it's kind of to put it in those terms. That's a very parochial point of view to take.
Well, there are people in Luton who are homeless.
I'm sure there are. And
so why should they take people from Waltham Forest?
Are equally bad, but that's for Luton Council. The people who are homeless in Luton, for Luton Council to do something with.
Well, but a lot of their places that they would be using are being taken up by your people from Waltham Forest.
Well, as I understand it, Cardiff House was an option that Luton Council could have exploited themselves and didn't for whatever reason.
Well, I tell you what, we've got Tom Shaw here from Luton Borough Council. Tom, why did you not exploit Cardiff House?
Because in Luton we would not consider doing the overcrowding what Waltham Forest has done. In one flat there, you got 4 children, 2 grown-ups in a 1-bedroom flat. We looked at that block of flats, and I tell you what, for a councillor, I don't care where you're from, to consider overcrowding the way you've overcrowded that block is absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe that you come on the radio trying to defend that. It's like going back to Cathy Come Home days. It's absolutely disgusting.
Outrage is not called for here, sir, and as I did say earlier...
There is a call for outrage when you're overcrowding proprities.
On this, wasn't my. This is not my decision, and certainly it doesn't. It is not good to have people overcrowded.
But Matt, you've just.
If that family was still in Waltham Forest, they'd be in a hostel, which is a worse situation for them to be in.
So you're happy, Matt?
Is not really just
Mr. Davis, you're happy with the fact that not only are you moving families out of your area to another area that's already overcrowded, you're then putting those families, or the council that you're the opposition to, is putting those families in cramped conditions.
No, I'm not happy. Since you've put it in those terms, I'm not happy about it. There is a housing crisis in Britain. Everybody knows it from the government on down, and unfortunately, in any kind of crisis, people get hurt. That's why it's a crisis. So we have families in very poor housing situations such as this, but the situations that they would have been in before they were there were worse. We're talking about people who were homeless.
Tom?
I can't believe what I mean. What you've got there is, yesterday when I was down there talking to some of the people that live in there, a lady walked in and with no consultation, she'd had a letter off you telling you she was moving to the West Midlands. You were moving her to the West Midlands. She had no consultation. I'll tell you what to do. The Tories and the Liberals have got an absolute... Hang on a minute. The Tories and Liberals have got a brilliant record. Absolutely perfect record. They built less social housing
Mr.
than
Davis,
anyone else ever.
Let Mr. Shaw finish. Matt, let Tom finish, and you'll come back, I promise.
Your record is abysmal.
Simply for him to have a rant.
No, we've not set... Matt, we've not set anybody up. Just listen to what he has to say, and then we'll come back and hear your point, I promise.
One of the answers, and we're quite happy to host it in Luton, Boris has got an actual housing responsibility. Brandon Lewis, your housing minister, it can't be allowed to carry on the way it's carrying on. We will be quite happy to host a meeting in Luton for them to come up with some of the other London boroughs. Barnet's got 50 families in Luton now, we found out in the last few days, at the same time as they're knocking down a massive council estate.
All right, Tom, let Matt come in. Matt?
Well, strange point to bring me in, really, but... in Waltham Forest, there is a considerable quantity now of building taking place in order to attempt to accommodate people in the situations of those in Cardiff House. But those units are not finished, so there's nowhere to put people. I don't dispute that this is probably something that is not at all welcome by Luton Council, but these are people who are homeless. Where would you suggest they go right now? Not
when
in
these
the dream
properties,
world, or in the future when the new stuff's been built. Where would you suggest they go right now?
Matt,
there is nowhere here.
Matt, when the new properties are built, will you be taking the people back from Luton into Waltham Forest?
Again, not being the person in charge of this, I can't make it.
We know the answer to that.
I would very much hope that is exactly what we will attempt to do.
I would imagine that wouldn't be the case. That there would be the list by the time those properties are finished would be of people wanting properties would be even bigger. Tom, do you not have any sympathy? I know
that's you imagining. That's not necessarily.
That's why I prefaced it with. That's why I prefaced it with. That's what I imagine. I wasn't stating it as a fact. Tom, have you got any sympathy for Waltham Forest? Because they're struggling. Everyone is struggling. Everyone is struggling.
We're all struggling. We've converted 4 office blocks in Luton, but we've converted them into 2 and 3 bedroom units to take care of the families. To shove 6 families in a 1-bedroom flat, and the woman having to walk 20 minutes each way to school and back in the rain. Luton Council's got to pick up all the healthcare costs of these people and everything else. I just think it's wrong. But we're quite happy to sit down with anybody and talk about it. Waltham Forest has got land. We're very good in Luton at putting financial packages together. We'll try and help wherever we can, but we've got our own homeless problem as well.
You've suggested, Tom, that you might take legal action. Is that a possibility?
If it carries on with the statutory overcrowding, the officers are talking to the senior officers at Waltham Forest. I will have absolutely no problem at all telling the officers enough is enough. We can't have 6 people in a bedsit flat.
Because the thing is, the last time you took on another authority, Central Beds, you took them to court about housing, you lost the case, and you spent something, we never got an exact figure, but something like £150,000 was lost.
No, that was only on one part of the case. The second part of the case, their local plan was withdrawn, but the working
you
relations...
You lost the case and you lost £150,000. Yeah, you lost the case and you lost £150,000. Are you saying that you are prepared to risk more taxpayers' money to take in all of these London councils?
If I've got to take London councils on, I will do, yes.
But you might not win.
But I might win, and
Wow.
even if I do win,
Tom, it's not your money to play around
yeah,
with,
but
mate.
even if I do win, 150,000 is one house. If I can get that block of flats or block of flats in Luton and put 50 people in, it'd be a cheap win as far as we're concerned.
But
We're
that's if
spending
you
£1
win.
million a year on temporary accommodation.
Your track record in these cases is not brilliant. You've already wasted a lot of taxpayers' money.
With central beds, that was over 4,000 or 5,000 houses.
Yeah, and you lost.
Yeah, and we want some of the houses. We'll end up with some of those houses along the line.
But you
somewhere.
lost the court case,
We
and
lost that court-
and it cost you £150,000.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's worth. That's one house.
You're prepared to gamble.
If I can get 500 houses out of a deal, why shouldn't I?
Prepared to gamble more of your taxpayers' money on what is basically a punt.
It's not a punt at all. If you go down there, you've got 6 people in a bed set. That is statutory overcrowding.
Yeah, no, I know the overcrowding, but the legal case is a punt, isn't it? The one against Central Beds was a punt, and you lost.
No, it's not a punt. It's I believe everyone's entitled to decent housing, and we've got people in the town now what haven't got decent housing. I will fight on their behalf and not stop fighting on their behalf. And if it means taking on another council, I don't have a problem with that.
But it's not your money to waste.
But it's my job to get as many houses as I can for people in Luton.
Tom, listen, thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much. Tom Shaw, charge of housing at Luton Borough Council. And the other voice you heard there was Matt Davis, who's the leader of the Conservative opposition at Waltham Forest. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are very long delays on the M1 southbound from junction 13 for Bedford towards 11 for Dunstable because of a 2-car accident earlier. All the lanes are open, but it's very busy. On the anti-clockwise M25, it's slow from junction 20 for Kings Langley to 16 for the M40. And in Hazelmere on Penn Road, there's been an accident at Rushmore Avenue, so it's partially blocked near the... it's been blocked at the Mayfair pub. And on the A1, it's slow southbound approaching the Black Cat roundabout from the St Neots junction. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. Right, where are we? 8:16. Blimey, look at the time. Look at the time. 8:16. It is Thursday, the 22nd of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. Police have praised the bravery of 2 teenage girls for giving evidence against a Luton man who assaulted them at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury, and protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night to support community groups staying at the Buzzy.
Every weekday morning.
Good morning, Jonathan.
Morning. Do you think it's right to tell 1 million disabled people they should get off benefits and find a job?
Have your say on today's big phone-in.
People who are going to be a nuisance are going to be a nuisance regardless of whether there are things to do.
Is it true that people over the age of 65 drink far too much booze?
The JVS show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
Waited and the receipt came out, but the cash didn't. It's become a problem of late because obviously the trees got bigger as we got here.
We couldn't shut the French windows. It would appear that they'd buckled.
I had a phone call from my daughter saying if we don't get off the train, they're going to hand us over to the British Transport Police.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio. This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Treading carefully as always. A Luton man has been jailed for 30 months after assaulting teenage girls at a public swimming pool. Anthony Crawford assaulted the 2 girls in the changing area at Aquavale swimming pool and also spied on a 19-year-old woman in the changing rooms. The 40-year-old has also been placed on the sex offenders register. Well, Deborah Jenkins is the chief executive of TDI, who run Leisure Watch, which makes public places more secure to prevent these kind of offences. Morning, Deborah. So what do you do to make these places safer?
Right, good morning. Well, we run a membership scheme for people who run public places, particularly public places that have children or vulnerable adults in, like swimming pools, shopping centres, bus stations and so on. And what we do is to firstly do a sort of physical audit of the site. So we look for where there are points where it might be possible for people to do things they shouldn't, and talk that through with the staff. Secondly, we train the frontline staff to look out for patterns of behaviour, because if you're, it's not particularly helpful just to say, oh, he looks dodgy. It's got to be about looking at what people do and what patterns they do it in, so that staff become more observant and are really watching out for what happens. So that if staff then pick up a concern about somebody, not an offence being committed. If they see an offence being committed, they just ring the police, and that's what they should do. But if they're concerned about patterns of behaviour, they share that with their managers. And we train the managers to look at how they thought through the information that they receive. And we put the managers in touch with the specialist parts of the police.
Okay, so what should people be looking out for?
Well, let me give an example that we've had, because we have 450 member sites. We've been running for about 10 years. So, for example, if we've had examples of where staff in a swimming pool have been concerned that a particular man might turn up every week to swim precisely when it's the school swim time.
Yeah.
And
maybe that's the only time he's got free.
Exactly. So there might be perfectly sensible reasons for that. So what we train people to do is what we call a customer care challenge, because it's about making people feel safe and welcome in a swimming pool, not about making people feel under attack. So one of the staff would feel able to go and have a chat with the chap and say, we've noticed that you're always there just at the school swim. Did you know if you turned up half an hour later, you'd have the pool pretty much to yourself, and it wouldn't be all noisy kids around? And very often there's perfectly sensible reason for why they do.
I'd feel pretty lousy. I'd feel pretty lousy if I work odd hours. I'd go in whenever I can. Sometimes there's kids, sometimes there's not.
Yeah.
I'd feel pretty lousy if someone said that to me.
Would you?
Yeah, I would. I'd feel really lousy if someone came up to me. We all know what the implication is there. Yeah, I'd feel terrible.
Well, actually, I mean, we've found is that people don't mind because they have a chat with the staff. It's done in a friendly way. And then that's absolutely fine. I think where if it's somebody who actually is there to do something that they shouldn't be doing, then they think, oh, staff are a bit too observant. And because when we set this up, this was about 12 years ago that the idea first came up, because it was one of our trustees who'd been an expert witness in two cases, one of both in the same shopping centre, one of a very prolific shoplifter, and one of a very prolific sex offender who'd actually then very seriously sexually abused a child. And what came to a trustees meeting to say, it's been really interesting because whereas the staff have got a very clear approach for what they do about noticing shoplifters, the staff just weren't clued into noticing people who were hanging around to groom children. And so our concerns when we set it up were firstly that you might get staff wrongly accusing somebody, and secondly that it could be used, that it would make people feel very uncomfortable. So our whole approach is about all of us who work in this place want to make sure that the place is as safe as possible, and that we're observant, that we notice if people are vulnerable, that we notice if actually there's some sort of questionable behaviour going on, and that we feel empowered to go and do something about it, but without it being an accusation, without somebody feeling really uncomfortable. So
it does make me. I don't like this thing of, if you're a single bloke somewhere, that there is that air of suspicion about you. I think that's terribly unfair.
No, I completely agree, and that's why our training would say, it's absolutely fine for a single bloke to be in a swimming pool.
But go and have a word with him and suggest maybe he goes at a different time.
No, you wouldn't necessarily go unless you had more concern than that.
Okay. How much do you charge for all this?
We charge the cost of doing it because we're a charity, and so because we've discovered over the years that the best training is face to face.
Yeah.
So people pay a fee initially for us to come and train the staff. So we say we've got a quality standard. So we say we need to have at least 80% of the front-facing staff trained, and then people have a membership so that each year we come and do refresher training and so on, and we have newsletters and a support line and so on. And so it depends on the size of the site. It's done literally that how many staff have we got to train, and therefore how many sessions we have to get it into.
All right, Deborah, listen, thank you very much indeed. I appreciate your time. Deborah Jenkins, Chief Executive of TDI, who run Leisure Watch. 03459 455 555.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'd feel mortified if I go swimming at odd times. Go for a steam, and then often I go for a little swim in the pool afterwards. And it's a leisure pool as well, so there's loads of kids there. Sometimes there's loads of kids, sometimes not kids. Well, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't be able to go back if someone kept saying, just Just noticed you seem to come a lot when, just as the kids are coming out of school. Just wonder why that was.
Youch.
Oh, God. I'm burning up with embarrassment even thinking about it. I know, Anyway, right, back to the fun stuff. I say fun stuff. That's not in any way to demean you, Wilson. Wilson, just introduce yourself to the boys and girls, ladles and jelly spoons, what is listening to us today.
Well, my name is Wilson, and today it's my 10th birthday.
Get in there, son! Double figures! Get in there!
And I'm helping produce.
Okay, and I'll be honest, Kath.
He's doing it himself.
He's shaming me, and he's shaming the other presenters that finish after that start after me when I finish at 9 o'clock.
The comments have been made on Twitter that actually he's too good and we ought to fire him off quick before he shows us up anymore.
Massage his ego with 2 Twitter comments. Give him 2.
Well,
and then give him a nasty one like I get every single day. Give him one of the rude ones.
Well,
let him know what it's like.
Scott Balk says that Wilson is a geezer.
Scott Balcony doesn't count for anything. The man's a lunatic.
Ian, you need to get rid of Wilson. He's too good.
Well, no, just do the first bit.
You need to get rid of Wilson.
Thank you very much indeed. You hear that, Wilson? They hate you. Angela's on the line. Morning, Angela.
Good morning. Happy birthday, Wilson.
Thank you.
You're through to Wilson. I'm turning my microphone off. Away you go.
No. Hello.
Hiya. Happy birthday.
Fine. Thank you.
We've all done it.
Right. I've got a story about throwing things out of windows. Yep. My husband, when he was little, they've got a very big family, and they had a christening. I think it was his little sister. But he also has a doll that's like the size of a toddler. So they thought it'd be funny to throw it out of a window attached to a bit of string and scare everybody sitting downstairs. But unfortunately, it's quite a heavy doll with a very thick plastic head.
I can imagine.
And it kind of went out the window, swung round, hit the window, shattered the whole thing over his grandmother.
That's in the church as well.
And they still talk about it after 30 years.
Yeah.
And how just terrifying this doll is.
So, here's the thing, Angela. Most dollies, and I've got boys, so we have very few dollies in our life, but I remember there was one point when my youngest got obsessed with a friend's dolly, and we borrowed it for a bit. Most dollies are flipping terrifying, aren't they?
Oh my God, he still has this thing. It's called Buddy. I had to ban him from moving it into the house. It terrifies me. It's like Chucky on acid.
Well, the thing is, imagine...
Go on.
I can't believe that survived through going glass.
Evil. It's an evil dolly.
Like, did it have... When you found it in the rubble, I'm imagining, or did it come up on the... Was the rope still attached, or did it cut?
No, it was still attached to the rope, so it was just hanging there.
Horrific.
Did it...
Horrific. Angela, listen, thank you very much. I'm really sorry we've got to do this, Wilson.
Yeah?
I'm embarrassed we've got to do this, but we've got to do it. It's Peter in Walmer Green. Morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Don't let your misery rub off.
I've got no misery, that's for
You
sure.
sure?
Absolutely. I've got things that need saying, but it's not misery.
Well, we've got a young man with us today.
Good evening.
Hang on a minute.
What age?
He's 10 years old today. Here we go. You're going to speak to Wilson. Wilson?
Good morning, Wilson.
What would you like to whinge about today?
Well, don't let elders put words into your mouth. You just have to think for yourself. Anyway.
He's telling you.
Yeah.
Go on, Pete.
Well, what I wanted to say actually is, when we're living in a democracy, first of all, you shouldn't impose on councils things that they don't want to do, because that's going against democracy. That's one. Two.
Don't worry, Wilson. I've got no response to that either.
Yeah.
Go on, carry on.
Two. On the Luton people have been moved from Waltham Forest.
Yes, boss.
Now, they only have to pay for those people for a year and a day. So after that, Luton becomes responsible for...
Cheer up, Grumpy Peter! Oh, what can it mean to a Fajita eater and a Peter from Walmer Green?
You're the only chap I know that wouldn't be able to interview either Jesus or Shakespeare, because they're
dead.
They come from a rural background. Hello?
Hello, Peter. Anything else you want to say? Sorry, I interrupted you. Go on, make your point. Go on.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean, you wouldn't even interview Shakespeare or Jesus, you wouldn't.
And why is that? Because they're dead? One's dead and one's
They
fictional?
come from poor backgrounds, actually.
Well, Peter, I've only got one thing I can say to you.
What's that?
Cheer up, grumpy Peter! Oh, what can it mean to a fajita eater and a Peter from Walmer Green? Cheer up, grumpy Peter! Oh, what can it mean to a fajita eater and a Peter from Walmer Green?
I'm glad your singing voice is not very good. That's the way to teach children not to sing.
All together now! Cheer up, Peter! Oh, what can it mean to a fajita eater and a Peter from Walmer Green? One more time! Cheer up, grumpy Peter! Oh, what can it mean to a fajita eater and a Peter from Walmer Green?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M1 southbound because of an accident between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable, so that's causing a tailback from junction 13 for Bedford. On the M25 clockwise, there are queues between junction 15 for the M4 all around to junction 19 for Watford. In patches, especially it's busy around junction 16 for the M40. On the M40 into London, it's slow from junction 2 for Beaconsfield towards the M25. And in Hazelmere, there's been an accident on Penn Road, so it's been blocked in both directions at Rushmore Avenue. The emergency services are there by the Mayflower pub. And Amersham Road is looking very busy on the speed sensors in Chesham between Church Street and Sycamore Road at Oakfield Corner. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much indeed. We'll say goodbye to Wilson and we'll have Montevideo on in a second. But first of all, let's get the news. Here's Simon.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. The headlines. Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. Police have praised the bravery of two teenage girls for giving evidence against a Luton man who sexually assaulted them at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury. He's been jailed. A man has been shot dead by police in Cambridgeshire. The incident last night in St Neots has been referred to the Independent Police Complaints Commission. And protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night to support community groups staying at the Buzzy, the former bus station building.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England have taken 2 early wickets on the first day of the second test against Pakistan in Dubai. A short while ago, Pakistan was 64 for 2, with wickets for Moeen Ali and Ben Stokes. In last night's Champions League matches, Manchester City scored a stoppage time winner to beat Sevilla 2-1, whilst Manchester United drew 1 all the way to CSKA Moscow. City manager Manuel Pellegrini was delighted with Kevin De Bruyne's late strike.
I think it's very important for him. We tried to make some change because we are not arriving to the box. We are not creating chances. That's why we put Kevin in front with Yaya. Fortunately, we create that play that finished with the goal.
In the Europa League tonight, Liverpool play their first home match under new manager Jurgen Klopp as they host Rubin Kazan. Tottenham are away to Anderlecht. And Milton Keynes Dons are down to 20th in the Championship after Brentford won at Wolves last night and Leeds drew at Fulham. Luton Borough Council have welcomed Luton Town's plans to develop land at Junction 10 of the M1 to finance a new stadium elsewhere in the town. Labour's deputy leader on the council, Sian Timoney, told BBC Three Counties that the stadium itself would not be at Junction 10 but wouldn't reveal the possible sites for relocation.
That would be down to the club, and I know that they've got a couple of options that they're currently looking at, but it wouldn't be on the Junction 10 site. It wouldn't be for me to say, well, I think they should go here, I think they should go there.
Yeah, but you must have had a conversation with them. I mean, you're all working together. You must know what they're thinking.
Yeah, I do. I know that they're looking at various sites, and it wouldn't be right of me to name them.
And in boxing, Hatfield's Billy Joe Saunders appears at a London press conference today with Ireland's Andy Lee ahead of their world middleweight title fight in Manchester in December. BBC Three Counties News and Sport, the next full bulletin at 9.
Local and vocal across
A little bit
beds,
premature there. Sorry,
and
Simon.
bucks.
Sorry, Simon.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Are they loud? Are your headphones loud as well?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you started on the long road to tinnitus and deafness, which is what my life is like. I'm glad I've passed that on. It's like The Ring, the film The Ring. If you watch the video, then you've got to pass it on. Well, I've passed on my ear diseases to you. Wilson, you've done a cracking job. Have you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, very much so.
What you got planned for the rest of your birthday?
I don't know. It's school now.
Is it school? You're not on half term?
Sorry?
You're not on half term yet?
No, I'm going on half term on Friday.
Yeah, okay, hang on a second. I'm just doing something very, very special. You talk to him for a second. I'm just doing something very special.
All right, so are you having a disco tomorrow?
Yeah, we're having these... No, I'm having my disco tomorrow, but my school disco is tonight.
What's this I hear about you inviting loads of birds and not many blokes?
Birds means women. He doesn't watch Minder. He's not watched Minder.
Well,
you have though, haven't you? You're going to be severely outnumbered.
Well, there's lots of girls and there's not very many boys because there isn't that many boys in both for the Year 5 classes.
I've just written something. I've not done this for a long time because I get in a lot of trouble when I do this. I've just written something. Read that. And that is legally binding. Read that, Sunshine.
Dear Square teachers,
Yeah.
Wilson can have the day off school today. Iain Lee Gold Pass.
And I've signed it. That is legally binding. So you can just drive past school, wave that at the squares as they're teaching their physics and their science and all of the maths and all that stuff. Go off. And leave your parents, go off to hang out in a shopping centre. Go to British Home Stores,
Been talking
C&A.
to Wilson's mum and dad, and apparently the head teacher's listening now, so you don't even need to drive by.
No, don't worry, it's fine, it's sorted. He's not coming in. I said so. I used to be on telly. Sorted. Wilson, you're an absolute legend.
Right.
If Deanie were here, he would call you a player, so in many ways it's good you're not here. I don't know how appropriate it is to call a 10-year-old a player.
He's here.
Well, go outside and meet Justin Dealey. It's been really nice to meet you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Now, listen, one of the joys of doing this show is that we get to, we did a phone-in. What was the phone-in? Songs with...
Well, Kiri misheard
Kiri went nuts.
a song, and she heard the word wang where there wasn't one.
Yes.
So we looked for the word wang where there was one.
Well, now we're having a wang back. We were doing a phone-in. It's close. We did a phone-in on songs that have the word wang in, and we came up with Monty Vidare and the cassettes, Shoop Shoop, Diddy Wop, Comma, Wang Dang. Well, Catherine managed to track the gentleman down, whose real name is Murray Grindley. He lives in New Zealand, and we spoke to him yesterday. Hey, listen, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm going to be honest, I was unaware of you until about 3 weeks ago, when we did a phone-in on songs with the word wang in. I know.
There wouldn't be many.
Well, there's more than you might think. Trust me.
Okay.
But so we had loads of people saying, "Oh, well, you've got to have Monty Video and the cassettes then." And I had never ever heard of this song, and I couldn't find it on iTunes, and I YouTubed it. And there it was. When I say overnight sensation, you'll take that in the way it's intended. You're an overnight sensation again, sir. How did that song come about?
I'm going to have to take a minute to explain this. I was sitting at home writing a tune for my own amusement, as I often do, and being fond of nonsense lyric songs like "Dirty is just a walking down the street singing do-a-dee-dee-dee-dum-dee-dee-do," etc.
Yeah.
And sha-la-la-la-lee, the do-run-ron, the do-run-ron. So, I'm fond of that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there writing this song called Shoop Shoop Diddy Wop, and I was doing it in a New Orleans fashion when I first wrote it, like a Dr. John type thing, like a shoop shoop diddy wop gum, etc. And this English mate of mine, Mark Ackerman, is his name, who I ended up writing the song with, walked through the door and said, "Geez, Muzz, that's a pretty catchy tune, but you're doing it all wrong."
You're doing it all wrong.
Only a mate can say that to you.
Yeah. And I said, "Why?" He said, No. Do it English, mate. do it like Bill Wyman, just wheezing rock star. So he had obviously piqued my interest, and I went, yeah, okay. And then he said, not only that, I have a persona for you. We'll call you Montevideo.
Montevideo, is it? I didn't realise. I'm so sorry, sir.
Yeah, like it's Montevideo after the city, and or the country, or whatever it bloody is. But he sort of said, like, Muzz, trust me, if we do it this way, it'll be a hit. So then we sat down and wrote it together, and he said, of course, you'll have to be English, which wasn't difficult for me because I was born in Scotland in 1949 and came to New Zealand when I was 13. And due to my father's job, I moved up and down from Manchester, Southport, back to Scotland several times in my childhood. And of course, I was expert at changing my accent. Otherwise, you get your ass handed to you, you know.
And you needed to be, because this carried on off air as well as when you were singing the song, didn't it? You managed to fool, am I right in thinking, every DJ in Australia?
Yes, it actually was a wonderful thing because, like, if you lived in the Antipodes, you would really understand this. I mean, New Zealand, well, like, think of the All Blacks, you know. I mean, like, New Zealand really likes to get one over the Aussies. Our brothers over the ditch, you know.
Yeah.
But we really actually don't really like them. And we signed to Mushroom Records in Australia, and it was released in Australia first. And it very quickly became a hit. I mean, it was number one in every state except Victoria. They wouldn't have a bone of it. But there you go. Probably because it was too English. So like, what's happening is I'm getting called up by all these Australian radio stations, kind of like yourselves.
Yeah.
And except they're Australian. But and like Mark Ackerman, the chap who really created Monty in a sort of a way, has given me a sheet of stock lies.
Fantastic.
And so they're calling me up, I mean, from Wollongong and Googa Wugga Wugga and all these places, you know, they're calling. And like Mark's put the word out, look, call this number because Monty is travelling the world at the moment for tax purposes. and yeah, I know. And he will be in New Zealand on these 2 days, so you can contact him on this number.
Fantastic.
So these people would call me up, and I'd have my sheet of lies, and they'd say, well, Monty, I mean, who played on this? And I'd tell them people like Ringo played drums, Elton John was on keyboard. You know, just the whole thing.
And no one said, are you sure? They just went, yeah, okay, oh, brilliant, it's got Ringo and Elton John. I suppose in the pre-internet days, you couldn't check this stuff. You had to take it at face value, didn't you?
Of course. Bring back those days.
Oh, man.
So how did you get found out, Murray?
Well, finally, they found out, but it was too late. I mean, it had been a big hit and it had done its dash, you know, and they found out, and the next thing I saw was some Australian rag, a bit like the Daily Mail back there, saying, great expose, shoop shoop diddy wop, New Zealand jingle writer.
Busted.
Yeah.
I bet Australia was furious.
Well, hopefully.
Now listen, because I know that you've done loads of other stuff. You're in like a big blues band in the 60s, and you've done stuff for movie soundtracks more recently, and you've written jingles and you've written crunchy ads and stuff like that. Is it frustrating that this is the thing that we're phoning you up to talk about? You know, we're talking about what was kind of a very, very successful and very funny joke, but that's the kind of thing that people seem to focus on.
It doesn't worry me at all, and in fact, I love it. I mean, why would I worry about this? I mean, it's lovely. it's lovely. It was a nice moment. It was a really lovely moment.
Is there any chance of Montevideo making a comeback and doing any live concerts? Could that ever happen?
Well, he never did any live concerts in the first place, and he's not about to start now.
No, he's still running from the tax man.
Listen, you're a really good sport, and your song is in 2015. Who'd have thought it is bringing lots of joy to people listening to this show, and also annoying lots of people as well. I have to be completely honest.
I'm sure. But they're just old squares because it's a groovy record.
Oh man, now you are showing your age with that language. Murray, listen, it's a pleasure to talk to you, mate. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, Ian. Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks, Murray. Nice
Take care. Bye bye.
Come on, mean what you thought. That's right. And the wind ain't gonna get you through the night time, baby. That's the right time if you wanna lose control. Shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, and shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, and shoot, shoot, diddy, come away. Come away, then shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then shoot, shoot. Little party, nothing formal. She's in the corner, look quite normal. Empty glass, bold as brass, pinch me hang about. Shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then. She said, shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then. Well, the shoot, shoot stood for a mood, all right, and the diddy one gave me a nasty fright. Sort of feeling well, it's hit me since it's wheeling and you can't sit still. Come on, meant what I thought, touche, and the winding. Anyway, nearly died, mortified, nearly lost control. Shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then. Shoot, shoot, diddy, come away, then shoot, shoot, diddy,
Quite possibly one of the most random shows you've ever done. Even compared to the Saturday show. Saturday show? Yeah. Well, me and Kath, midday, 12 till 2.
Nasty weather. With a feather. What? All together.
03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are still long queues on the M1 southbound from junction 12 for Flitwick to 11 for Dunstable now for an accident earlier. Another lane has been reopened for quite some time. It's just very slow still, and that's where the roadworks are too. On the M1 southbound as well, between junction 13 at 3 junction 13 for Bedford, it's looking busy, and nearby in Dunstable, the High Street North has queues at Houghton Road from the A505 through the roadworks there. In Barton Le Clay, Sharpenhoe Road has been closed because of an accident over the bridge at the A6, and that's affecting people travelling between Barton Le Clay and Sharpenhoe. And in Hazelmere on Penn Road, there's been an accident, so it's blocked at Rushmore Avenue. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you. You see, people talk about broken Britain and kids are being, idiots, and then you meet someone like Wilson and you think, do you know what? If there's enough of him, then we'll be all right. Do you know what? We'll be all right. I enjoyed that. 03459 455 555. 8:47, these are your headlines. Luton Borough Council is considering legal action over the number of homeless families from London being sent to the town. Police have praised the bravery of 2 teenage girls for giving evidence against a Luton man who sexually assaulted them at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury. And protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night to support community groups staying at the Buzzy. Let's get the weather!
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's a fairly mild start to the day today. There's lots of thick cloud around though, but things are going to tend to brighten up as we head into the afternoon, certainly. So we'll see this weak cold front go through. The air will feel a bit fresher this afternoon, but temperature-wise, it won't be too much difference from what we've got at the moment, 13 or 14 Celsius. So perhaps just a few outbreaks of just light rain and drizzle possible for a time this morning. And then a brighter afternoon, some sunny spells developing a bit later on as well. And as I said, highs of around 13 or 14 degrees. Overnight tonight, we see all the cloud re-thicken. It should stay mostly dry. And then as we head into tomorrow morning, we'll start off the day on around 9 or 10 degrees. It's going to be a rather cloudy day tomorrow. Some brightness possible through the morning. Maybe a few spots of rain as we head into the afternoon. All in all, quite grey and dull. But Saturday looks like we're going to see some outbreaks of rain through the afternoon, some of which could turn out to be quite heavy. We'll also see the wind pick up for a time. A chilly night on Saturday into Sunday. And then Sunday, a lovely day, the nicer day of the weekend. There'll be plenty of sunshine around and it will stay dry. That's the forecast.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
History coming up very shortly with the brilliant Dan Hill. He's a local historian.
Silversworth, amongst other things, has got quite a rich history. As it's further east, there is a lot more influence with regards to things like air raids.
Weekdays from 12.
Great music as well coming up here on BBC Three Counties Radio. Freddie Mercury, The Great Pretender. Go West as well on its way. First though, here's T-Rex.
Nick Coffer.
You know, it's fantastic to be able to get, people like Nathan Bell and Gary Matthew and, experienced but still early on in their careers, giving them the opportunity to come and make music in a lovely environment. Luton Library Theatre.
Could you describe modern Britain in 50 records? Stuart McConey is doing just that in his book.
I don't think you're ever going to get another Beatles who dominate the pop cultures.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Flipping it. I forgot about this. All right, Gatford.
All right, boss.
Yeah. Now, the reason... I just can't be bothered. Kath, can you tell us why he's back on and what we're doing?
He'd done a poem, but he'd done it wrong.
He'd done a what?
Poem. Done a little poem.
I've done a little poem.
It's for Kelly Betts.
Yeah, but you didn't put it in the past tense, because as we know, she's no longer with us as of next Friday.
Kelly is compiling... Shush, button it. Kelly is compiling her own obit package.
That's your request. I'm not doing it for me.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're still doing it.
Providing you with content.
Thank you.
From beyond the
grave. That's appreciated, Kelly. So to do this, we're asking people to phone in, and I'll be honest, there's not been as much outpouring of love for your departure as I was expecting. Next week is our last week.
Rosie managed to squeeze a tear out, didn't she? One.
Not from her eyes.
Kelly.
From the eyes of those around her with her ridiculous poem is what Kelly's referring to. And you're right, it was... So we're asking people to phone in and just give us a few words about Kelly in the past tense. And Gatford, you'd written a poem and you really struggled to get it into the past tense, mate. I don't know why that is. You know what the past tense is? It's like what's happened.
Yeah, and I
struggle. I struggle with first and third person perspectives on shooter games and in sentences. What's a second person perspective?
When there's two of you?
See, that doesn't make sense.
No, I mean, think about it logically, gentlemen.
Okay, first person perspective.
But
if I'm playing if I'm playing GoldenEye, what's first person? What do I see?
You're seeing through the eyes of the character.
So I see the tip of the gun.
You'll see the tip of the gun.
Third person, I'm seeing over my shoulder.
Third person, you're he, so you're seeing from somebody else.
So I'm seeing over my shoulder. That's when you see the back of the man's head that you're controlling. That's third person.
I guess, yeah.
Well, you don't even know.
You're an extra.
And am I supposed to invert the axis when I'm flying a helicopter in those games? I just
always
don't
invert
know.
the axis. What are you talking about? I mean,
You
come
see,
on,
Gatford, this is Hurts Without You.
You're kind of ruining my poem.
No, mate, this isn't ruining your poem. You ruined your poem by writing a poem.
No.
Okay, right.
Just wait.
I'm waiting. The airwaves. Bearing in mind, we had a 10-year-old lad who was already a million times better than you'll ever be, and you're what, like 56 or something? So
41. Shut up. Come in.
You are not younger than me. I've seen pictures of. I've met you. You're not younger than me.
I'm younger than you. I've got like proof and everything.
Okay. Well, you're certainly bigger than me.
Well, and better. Something, I'm sure.
Wowzers. That sounds like I can hear a gauntlet being lain down.
Yeah, well, I'm slapping you in the face with a gauntlet.
Oh, you've just picked it up again and slapped me. Have you dropped it again?
Yeah, no.
Well, bend down, turn around, bend down, pick it up, give it a kick up the bum. Give us the poem!
I got it. Well, okay, right, ready? Okay. The time has passed for parting. Our time gone to its end.
Surely it's the time... Hang on a minute. Hang on. Surely it's the time... The time had passed for parting. Not the time has passed. Catherine, we go to our literary expert.
The time's well past for parting.
The time,
That's a bit slang, isn't it? I mean,
what did you call her?
Wow.
No.
I've never been so insulted in the last 5 minutes.
What was the word you said?
slang.
Oh, I thought you said... I said something.
Just
Okay.
rude.
All right, we'll do it. So just Kath, say it again. What should he put?
Time's well past for partying, innit?
Okay, away you go.
I'll
Away you go.
let it. Okay. The time's well past for parting. Our time gone to its end. The rest of your life is already starting, and we have no more time to spend.
Right. Does this get? Does it? No.
There's a second stanza. There's a second bit.
Does it in any? Does it any way reference Kelly Betts?
No, it's from me to Kelly Betts.
Does it reference? You know what the word reference means? It's like I'm interviewing a local councillor, for crying out loud. It's not a trick question.
Kelly Betts in the second stanza, then. All right.
Put her in. Why would you write a poem about Kelly Betts that doesn't have Kelly Betts' name in it?
Well, there was that bloke who wrote poems about the charge of the Light Brigade. He never put the charge of the Light Brigade in it, did he?
Justin, I'm sorry. Yet again, Justin.
Yeah, it's raining as well. Again, waiting for this.
J-Dog, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you should be.
Right, I'll tell you what we're going to do, because this is not fair. Right, Gatford.
Yes.
We'll speak to you tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Well, you can't just keep phoning in with substandard poetry.
I think we're being more than generous after what you've called me. Okay. Yeah. So, third time lucky, we'll see how we get on.
So tomorrow, Gatford, all in the past tense, and you've got to mention Kelly Betts in it.
Here's some tips. Jelly belly.
Smelly welly. That's it, I think, isn't it?
All right. Okay, yeah. I mean, I've got a life, but I'll do it.
Well, you haven't. And don't thank us, eh?
Gosh.
What for?
Did you? Didn't thank us.
No, it's so
unbelievable. People will pay a lot of money to get mine and Catherine's and Kelly's input on things.
Did you hear what you called me?
I did, and he didn't. It wasn't slang.
No. Got out of that well.
I'm sorry, Justin. That's twice you've had to endure that. That is bang out of order, and it's not we're not doing deliberately. That's Gatford's fault.
I know.
He chooses when to call in. He knows when you're coming up. I'm sorry, mate.
Listen,
I'm angry.
I almost died a few weeks ago. I'm back out on the streets again. It's raining. I could get a cold on my chest again for this.
Can I correct something?
Yeah, go on.
You didn't almost die, mate. You died.
Okay,
I almost died. You died.
You didn't go towards the light, though, did you?
You came back. You got too much work to do.
You liked it dim.
I said, Dev, you know what? In a couple of weeks' time...
Dev?
I've got,
from Coronation Street was there?
No.
Oh, just
doing some really bad acting.
That would have been amazing. I said to the devil, listen, I've got this great package I'm going to do on What Have You Blocked in a couple of weeks' time. Just let me get that out of the way.
I want you for one of mine.
Leave it out, Dev.
That's not actually a bad devil voice, is it? Hang on. David? Yeah, you're on the air. I'm trying to... Justin's got to squeeze a package in, and what do you want?
Oh, I just wondered if you wanted me to construct a tribute to Kelly, which I'll be trying tomorrow.
Yeah, do it tomorrow. Gatford, have you gone?
What? Hello? Yes, hi.
Put the phone... Right, both of you put the phone down. Flipping it. Look at the time. This is so tight. Justin.
Yes.
Those two losers... Have you gone, Gatford?
Yes.
Good.
I think he still might be there.
Right, Justin. I'm so sorry, mate. What have you blocked? You've taken it to the streets.
Yeah, your big phone in this morning with extraordinary stories at the end as well from a lady and her tattoo. This is incredible. Here's what happened on the streets.
Taken to the streets with J-Dog. Hashtag West Side.
Well, I blocked the drain.
Lovely red jacket, madam. You don't work for Butlins by any chance, do you?
Not right.
Okay. What have you blocked?
No.
Thanks for your time.
Well, people on Twitter a lot of the time. Phone numbers.
If you're blocking people on Twitter, blocking people on phones and things like that, you seem to be the sort of guy which maybe is provoking a lot of anger.
Yeah, that probably would be said about me, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I can't argue with that one.
Are we okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Madam, open up. What have you blocked?
Toilet.
Oh. Heavy night the night before, yeah? Yeah. I'll leave you to it. Cheers. Madam, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Lovely tattoo behind the ear there. What's that tat?
Just a cover up.
What do you mean a cover up?
My ex's initial.
You are joking. Oh my God. Wow, that is incredible. What were his initials?
C.
Just
a C, yeah.
Wow, that is the story. That is sensational. Goodness me. Okay, enough about the X and the tattoo which you blocked up. You've blocked you've blocked a drain. Okay, tell us more about it.
With my hair, every girl has the same problem. If you don't put the trap down, the hair gets caught and you have to get somebody else to unplug it. And it looks like a dead rat.
Wow, that tattoo, I've got to see that again. That is a classic. Okay, what's your name, by the way?
Danielle.
Danielle, lovely to meet you, and have a good day.
Thank you, Justin. We got there in the end. Excellent stuff.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Hazelmere on Penn Road, that's been blocked by an accident at Rushmore Avenue by the Mayflower pub. One of the cars is smoking, so emergency services are there at the scene. And on the Sharpen High Road in Barton-le-Clay, that's been closed because of an accident involving two vehicles at Barton Road. So it's just at the bridge over the A6, and it's causing delays between Barton-le-Clay and Sharpenhoe. In Dunstable on the A5, it's busy on the High Street North from the A505 approaching Brewers Hill Road through the roadworks. And on the motorways, it's slow on the M1 in both directions at junction 14 for Milton Keynes. And it's also very busy on the M1 southbound between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable, where the roadworks are, and there was an accident there earlier. On the train departure board, though, there's no reported problems at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much indeed. Well, that's it, guys. That's your lot. Back tomorrow at 6. Don't forget, on Saturdays at midday, there's a brand new show. If you go to the BBC iPlayer and type in Iain Lee and Catherine Boyle, it comes up. I won't bother listening to the first one. But listen to the second and the third. And thank you, Wilson. Excellent stuff. Enjoy your day mooching around a shopping centre.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Thursday. It's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, do you think we need more black and Asian police officers? The Home Secretary Theresa May will say today that the police force must employ more black and Asian officers. The College of Policing argues there's no quick way to suddenly get more diversity in the force, but Francine Jones from the National Black Police Association argues the police must do more to recognise black talent. 4 forces in the UK have no black officers at all. Well, I want to hear from you. Do you think we need more black and Asian police officers? Pick up the phone, come on and share your thoughts on 03459 455 555.
This is the JVS show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'll take your call in just a second, but first let's get the latest BBC News at 9 o'clock. Here's Simon Oxley.
The headlines: Luton Council considers legal action over London homeless moving in, praise for teenage girls assaulted at Aylesbury swimming pool, and protests in support of the Buzzy in Milton Keynes.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Luton Borough Council says it's had enough of London boroughs sending their homeless families to the town. It says it's contemplating legal action over increasing numbers of people being placed in a local rented sector which is already stretched. The London Borough of Waltham Forest has around 57 families in a converted office block on Cardiff Road in Luton. Councillor Tom Shaw is in charge of housing.
If it carries on with the statutory overcrowding, the officers are talking to the senior officers at Waltham Forest. I will have absolutely no problem at all telling the officers enough is enough. We can't have 6 people in a bedsit flat.
Police have praised the bravery of 2 teenage girls for giving evidence against a Luton man who sexually assaulted them at a public swimming pool in Aylesbury. Thames Valley Police says it's down to the girls that Anthony Crawford from Blenheim Crescent in Luton has been given a 30-month jail sentence and placed on the sex offenders register indefinitely. The 40-year-old committed the offences in the changing area at Aqua Vale swimming pool. A man has been shot dead by police in Cambridgeshire. The incident last night in St Neots has been referred to the Independent Police Complaints Commission. Police in Essex have arrested a 13-year-old girl on suspicion of murdering a man who was stabbed on Tuesday. Darren Kelly, who was 42, was attacked during an argument with a group of people near a block of flats in Basildon. He died later in hospital. Protesters gathered outside Milton Keynes Council last night with a 4,000-strong petition handed to councillors in support of community groups staying at the Buzzy, the former bus station building. Make a Difference, which runs community services there, say they're being forced to leave after losing income from the adjacent car park. Kevin Vickers from Milton Keynes Against the Cuts says they're getting conflicting statements.
That building is owned by Milton Keynes Development Partnership. They are owned by the council.
And when you ask questions of Milton Keynes Development Partnership, they say it's nothing to do with them, it's actually all to do with the council in terms of the way this building is funded. And last night at the council meeting, the leader of the council, who's actually on the board of the Development Partnership, said that the revenues that are used for that building are actually nothing to do with the council, it's all to do with the Milton Keynes Development Partnership.